It's another day, left jab, right jab, this is MMA. Mixed martial arts, quick body parts, undefeated when I pick 'em. Who the champ, who the victim, looking in my crystal ball, I predict the winner. Never stop fighting, if you lose, keep your chin up. Know how the game go, I'm a smart fella. Welcome to the show, this the MMA fortune teller.
The MMA fortune teller.
The teller.
What is up, you guys? The teller. We got a spectacular episode lined up for you guys. MMA live discussion episode number 10. We got Chris, the Crippler Leben, who's going to be joining the show here a little bit later, more towards 9:30 Eastern time zone. Just so you guys have a heads up on that. He's going to be joining us a little bit later. But we got a lot to talk about in the meantime anyway, right? We got UFC 251 taking place this weekend. Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal took the fight on short notice, and we got to talk about that. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, we're just going to run the show until Leben's ready to join. Leben's over there, I think, in San Diego on that West Coast time. So Leben's probably just finishing his day as of right now. So what's up, boys? Checking the comments now. What's up, Dylan? What's up, Bobby? The double champ. The double champ. I see him every weekend on Sundays at the boardwalk here in San Diego with his kids and wife. Really nice guy. He's fucking huge in person, but nevertheless, super nice guy. That's awesome, man. Over in San Diego. I thought he was still over there too. That's what's up, man. Yeah, everything I've ever seen from Leben, back from when I've been a big fan of his fighting, and even after. Well, I shouldn't say after, because he's still really doing his thing. He's fighting over in Bare Knuckle FC and whatnot as of recently. So technically, he's still in the fight game. But everything from the beginning till now, the guy seems like a very, very nice guy. Obviously, at the end of the day, he's still a gladiator and he could take your head off. But that he seems like a super cool guy. Of course, I feel like we all really got to know him. For those of you guys that actually watched The Ultimate Fighter Season 1, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have watched that since, even if you didn't watch it initially back in the day or around that time frame. I'm sure you guys got to, if you haven't, make sure you get back to The Ultimate Fighter Season 1 and watch that. It was epic. Every single guy on that show ended up being like a legit UFC fighter, basically. I would say like 90 to 95% of them were staples of the UFC. Some of them kind of disappeared and whatnot, but still, I mean, it's an amazing season. And that's where Leben really made his name, and he was the bad boy of that show. So what else we got going on? Macizo. What's up, brother? Workaholic. Good job on getting Leben on. Thank you, man. Yeah, man. I'm starting to get some of these big characters, and wait till you see some of the other fighters I have lined up. I don't want to throw any names out there right now because I've been talking to them. I want to make sure it's 100% official, but wait till you see. I'm going to give you guys a couple hints. Not even hints. I'll give you guys a sneak peek. Stay around for the show. I'll let you guys know some of the people I'm talking to that are going to be joining the show here in a couple of weeks. Some names I'm really excited about. Some young prospects too. Some prospects that are really promising. That's even, in my opinion, I even like that just as much. The prospects that are going to be really big down the line. That we're catching them early, so it's cool. I'm going to give you guys some of those names here in a little bit. What's up, Hingle McCringleberry? Carlos, my boy. Taylor kicking butt. I appreciate you. My boy David, Dylan, man. All my people are here, man. I appreciate all you guys. And of course, we got the Fight Companion going down this Saturday for UFC 251. So you guys already know that's going to be the place to be. As far as Fight Companions go, really, as far as watching it anywhere. You know what I mean? I mean, where else can you watch it right now? I mean, I don't think really a lot of the bars are really pumping out the fights, at least to my knowledge. I don't know. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't really feel like going to the bars myself these days with what's going on. So, we run it from the Penny Bar right here. And UFC 251 is going to be an epic card. And I've got 2 plays locked in. Going to be finalizing a 3rd play either by the end of the night or by tomorrow. I'm watching this line right now, and the line's actually getting better. So I've been kind of targeting that line and going to be locking in that third play. And it's going to be a profitable night. UFC 251 will not disappoint. It's an amazing card, and it's going to be a profitable night. Ahmed B, what's up, man? Appreciate you. One of my favorite fighters, the double champ says, yeah, man, me too, man. I've been a big Chris Leben fan from way back in the day. You know what's crazy, man? I was looking up some stats. I was actually doing the homework myself, typing in the calculator. You know, the Leben has finished 77% of his wins. You know, that shows you what he brings to the table. Take a look at all your favorite fighters and look up what their finish rate is as far as, you know, their wins. And not a lot of them are going to have over a 77% rate. That's what Chris Leben always brought to the table, man. He went in there to take your head off. He went in there to decapitate you. And I was always a big fan of Leben's. Win-win for Jorge. Carlos calling out a win for Jorge Masvidal. We got to see. We're going to see how that goes, man. For those of you guys that saw my little updated prediction video, I definitely picked Usman to win the fight. I stick by that. I really have Usman here. I think that Usman was just more prepared for this fight. I think that he's a little bit of a tough stylistic matchup for Jorge. Unless it's tricky because Jorge he's been really rising to the occasion as of the last couple of years. And I feel like he has evolved as a fighter. You know, I talked about it in my breakdown, the guy that he's working with on his wrestling. That dude is a legit wrestler, former Penn State wrestler. So, you know, he's definitely working on the wrestling. And he's been, like Usman said recently in an interview, Usman feels that this change of opponent more affects him because Masvidal was already training to fight Usman. That was the fight, right? I mean, who else was Jorge going to fight? He already knew he's next in line for the title, where, you know, Usman was training for Burns and not Masvidal. The only thing is I disagree in a way because I do believe that Burns is a very similar fighter to Jorge Masvidal. You know, contrary to what I've been hearing some of these other experts talking about, that it's a major change. Explain to me how it's a major change going from from Gilbert Burns to Jorge Masvidal. They're not the same fighter. Yes, I would agree with that. But, I mean, they're both nasty, dangerous strikers that have good jiu-jitsu. I think Burns has better jiu-jitsu. So if anything, you're taking a step down in regards to the dangers of being submitted. Not to sleep on Jorge's jiu-jitsu. It's not bad. I don't really know what Usman meant by that, though. Where are we at now? I'll run down these comments, man. And then after we go through some of these comments, there's a couple things I want to talk about. You know, your boy Mike Perry. I know you guys want to talk about Perry, the Platinum boy, getting crazy out there. Let's see what we got here. Back in the house days, UFC, man. I know the double champ. We're back in the house these days. Thoughts on Holloway Zoom training rumors? I don't believe it. I touched upon that in the video too. I do not believe it. Daniel Cormier pretty much debunked that theory that he was just training at home by himself because I guess he slipped up. And honestly, I guess Cormier has a big mouth, right? Because Holloway was obviously pushing off that narrative that he was just training at home on Zoom and whatnot. He wanted to kind of play it like, you know, play possum a little bit. Cormier, his own boy, calls him out. I don't really like that, but Cormier called him out on the that MMA show, Ariel Helwani. And he said, I just talked to Max Holloway, and Max Holloway told me he has a mat at the house, and his one boy is going over there. They're working on the wrestling and whatnot. So, I mean, Cormier called him out. So I don't really believe those rumors. And I don't really think you had to hear Daniel Cormier to know that was false anyway. The guy lost his belt. He's going back for a rematch against one of the nastiest featherweight fighters we've ever seen in Volkanovski. And you just got whooped by him, and now you're going to just do Zoom training? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think that he's taking this fight very serious, so I think he's been getting it in. That's what I think about that, Dylan. Shout out to Dylan, man. His back tattoo is sick. Yeah, man, Leben. I know you're talking about Leben there. Leben's tattoos are nasty all over the board. It's crazy. I remember when he was younger just watching them develop, you know, fight to fight. His tattoos were getting crazier. What's up, Latchlin? Shout out to Glide OG, man. I appreciate you. What up, Justin? Shout out to Justin. Shout out to Justin Jr. I think it's the same dude. I don't know. What else we got over here? Catch up a little bit. Yeah, we're catching up. There we go. Max looking good, huh? The double champ thinks Max looking good. I know his haircut's not looking good, but Usually he has the fresh fade and whatnot, but you know what? I think that's a good sign. I think that shows you that, well, it could show you one of two things. Maybe it pointed towards, maybe you're right about that he was doing Zoom training. He's so scared he doesn't want to get a haircut. He's like me doing his own haircut, but not even really because he's just growing it out. Or he's just grinding, right? Or he's grinding, just focused on this fight, doesn't even care about the haircut. A lot of people have conspiracy theories on Donald Cerrone. Remember Donald Cerrone? They feel like there's two different Cerrones that show up depending on what kind of haircut he has. Sometimes I think it was when he was growing the hair out, he wasn't doing good. He was losing fights every time his hair was all scraggly. And every time he had the fresh cut, he was winning fights. I'm not a big believer in all that stuff. What's up, Kyle? Teller Thursdays. What's up, man? That's right. Teller Thursdays. MMA live discussion episode number 10. Chris Leben will be here later on in the show, as you guys see. Ooh. Turn it up. What's up, Teller? Funny to see that once you start doing live interviews, everyone else trying to follow suit. You change it. Of course, bro. Of course. All these guys are one step behind me. And the thing is, I don't focus on these dudes, right? The thing is, I'll always be a step ahead of them. Wait till you guys see what I have lined up next. You know what I mean? I'll keep my mouth shut. You guys just stay tuned. And remember this. I've been promising you guys all types of crazy stuff from the beginning, and I delivered on everything I told you guys, right? For those of you guys that have been around since day one, I started off in my car just on my iPhone, doing prediction videos. And I told you guys then, right? You can run the tape back. I'll pull it. I'll pull the clip up in the near future, and I'll show you guys. I said I'll be working for the UFC in the future. I'll be growing my show here. I'll hit 1,000 subscribers. I'll hit 10,000 subscribers, and those are where we're aiming right now, right? Creeping up on 3,000 subscribers. We got legends in the game coming on the show, like Chris Leben coming and talking with the Teller, and nobody else is picking fights like me. Listen, I don't get them all right, but overall, I got an amazing record, and I know my fight stuff, and I know a lot of you guys that are watching right now, you guys are good at picking your fights too, and I appreciate all you guys coming in, and we all chat here. It's a community, and that's what it's all about. So any of those other scrubs that are trying to copy what I do, you know what? Those guys are all losers. And you know what? The people that watch those people, some of them are cool here and there, but you guys know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of losers out there too, haters that come in here. Those guys, anyone that would watch those guys over what we got going on here, all the guys that I bring on my show, I'm the fight companion, and all these dudes that are in the chat talking, these guys are OGs, man. These guys are all cool people. You know what I mean? Look at them when they come in my chat, how they talk, how they carry themselves. They're winners. If you go to the other shows that you guys know, the rival shows, these guys try to copy what I'm doing. They're losers. Look at them. You could tell what type of guys they are. They're in their mom's basement. You know what I mean? Big old pot belly, smoking cigarettes, losers. Okay. But don't get me started, because I'll go on those guys. And you know what? If you want to watch guys like that, you know what I mean, that don't even know as much as me about MMA, but regardless, if you want to watch this fat pot belly loser that can't even get out of the house to go buy a beer, he has to pay his buddy to go pick it up because he has anxiety issues. These types of guys, those are losers, right? So you don't want to watch people like that. They say the people you hang out with, that's how you act yourself, right? It all contributes to, it goes full circle. So the way I like to run this show, man, I think that we're all a bunch of winners, and it's going to carry over to our plays and our bets as well. So that's what I got to say about that. What else we got here? Glide OG. Who you got in the Marcin Tybura fight? I don't got Tybura. I'll tell you that right now. I am not taking Tybura. It's a close fight, but I'm going with Maxime Grishin. I think that fight is very close. I wouldn't be shocked if Tybura steps up to the plate all of a sudden. We've seen him deliver, right, against guys that are not up to the level. If you're not really on that level, he'll come in and he'll take you out, but he drops the ball left and right too. So I'm going to go with Grishin. I like what I've seen from him in certain aspects. Not superly impressed by the dude, but he's a good fighter. He's well-rounded. He's tough. He has a lot of fights. He's a big-time veteran in the game. He's fought for PFL and whatnot, so he's used to traveling and fighting, and I'm going to take him to win the fight. Jan or Aldo, you got to listen to the breakdown video, man. Go to my breakdown video, which is pretty much the #1 prediction video out right now, man. I'm creeping up. I'm going to hit like 10K, over 10K views on this by the time it's fight night. So don't get it twisted too. I got the most views in the game. All those other guys don't got the views like me. But if you want to really hear what I think about that fight, go to the timestamp in the description. Click on that Jan versus Aldo. But I got Piotr Jan winning that fight. I think that he's a stud. I think that we've seen Aldo get broken as of recently. He's been through a lot of wars. And, we saw it in the Max Holloway fights, both those fights. And I think that Jan is fresh. I think his boxing is nasty. And I got him winning that fight. Stanley, I hate losers, bro. I hate losers too, bro. But we still got to toast the losers because the losers motivate us, right? As they chase our coattails. Tastes good, man. Tastes like victory. UFC 251 is going to be a profitable night, boys. We're going to have at least 3 bets locked in. So, that's what it's looking at right now. Question for the Crippler. If you can tell her if Leben would have won the Silva fight, what was next in the works for him? Okay. That's a legit question. Did Silva fight for the belt after that victory? I would have to double check that. I'm trying to remember if Silva fought for the belt after that victory. Pull that up right now. Let's take a look at that. So he lost to Anderson Silva back in 2006. And let's double check that real quick. Back in 2006, he took out Chris Leben. That was the title eliminator knockout. Won the UFC middleweight championship fight in his next fight against Rich Franklin. So you pretty much, I just answered your question, but I mean, I was going to say we'll ask him himself, but we'll see. I don't want to bring up any negativity to the guy, but you know what? We will touch upon that. We'll touch upon that. I'll ask him because I think we all know he would have had a title fight against Rich Franklin. I'll ask him how he thought that fight against Rich Franklin would have went. So those people are related to Keith. That's hilarious, bro. Keith P? Oh, Keith J. I think he meant Keith Peterson. Let's see. Birds of a feather flock together, bro. There you hit it on the head, man. My boy Dylan, bro. Always appreciate you, my brother. Here's to the best of the game, man. I'll give you a toast to that, Dill. Hey, we'll be watching fights live together in the future, man. Maybe I'll take a trip out there, man, over to Ireland and whatnot. You're over in Ireland, right, Dill? I believe. If not, somewhere over there, by Europe. I'm going to come visit you, man. We'll catch an event out there. What's up, Michelle? We got Michelle in the house. Michelle knows her fight stuff. Michelle actually has a very legit Instagram page. You guys need to go check that out, too. Michelle, what's the name of your Instagram page that you got? Fighter Reactions is pretty cool. So some of the best fights that are going on, you got Michelle and her friend over there watching the fights, and you see their reactions as somebody gets slept. So check her out, Michelle. Comment your Instagram page. Let everybody know. Chris Haynes, ask the Crippler what it's like acting in Kingdom TV series. I definitely got that on the notes, bro. One of my good friends watches that series. So, I'm definitely going to get to that question. I want to check out that series myself. My boy says it's pretty good. If Chris, let me ask you if you can comment too, or do you watch the series regularly or what? How's the series? Seems like you do watch it, right? You said that, yeah. Seems like they did a good job of doing their stuff. Who do you think is the most sleep-on fighter on this card? You know what? The most slept-on fighter on this card, I think, is going to be Leonardo Santos off the top of my head. Leonardo Santos or Volkan Ozdemir. I think that Leonardo Santos, people don't understand the level of jiu-jitsu, that guy carries, and then he's been knocking guys out as well. Trains over there with Aldo's camp. Name is slipping my mind right now. The Brazilian camp. What the heck's the name? Nova União. Bunch of nasty fighters. Remember Renan Barral from out there too in his heyday. Of course, a lot of those guys started to fade over the years, but Aldo didn't. And that camp is legit. And Leonardo Santos has got better and better. And he's old, and he's almost up to 40 years old, I believe. And he's legit, man. So I think he's the most slept on fighter. Oh, people are getting excited. Amit B, Michelle. What's up, Michelle? Look, James, you slide in the DMs over there. Everyone loves Michelle. Sexy Yama versus Leben is a classic, and that's a fight I definitely going to be bringing that fight up. I have it in my notes as well. I saw that fight live at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Tallahassee when I was up at FSU, and I was going crazy for that fight. So those were the good days, man, watching the UFC back then in college. Hell yeah. Yeah, there's Michelle. You guys go follow Michelle. MMA Fight Reactions. Like I said, man, her and her girl, they watch the fights. It's a cool page. You can check her out over there. Volkan should be a bigger favorite, says Scott. Yeah, the line, it's been a little bit stagnant, the line. Right now, actually, it's a little bit of movement as of recently. Yeah, so money's coming back in on Yuri. I don't know, man. I'll tell you the truth. I do feel like Volkan wins that fight. I do, and it's just the only thing is, it's like that guy Yuri. He has the type of power that's kind of like, it's kind of eerie. If you catch my drift, I didn't, a little pun there. It's eerie because he knocks some of these guys out, man. That he really doesn't catch them that flush. Some of them he does, but some of them he doesn't, and he's still putting these guys out. So it's kind of crazy. He's the type of guy, man. Like, do not underestimate the fact that he can knock you out. The only thing is, Volkan Ozdemir has such a solid chin, right? Volkan Ozdemir is so battle tested. It's hard to even imagine Volkan getting knocked out. Until we see it, we're not going to really believe that. So probably not going to get knocked out. Not to mention how technical Volkan is too. He's so technical, right? Working with Henry Hooft and whatnot. So you don't really expect him to get knocked out, or you're not banking on that. And then, I think that he could just outpoint Yuri. I think he's stronger in the clinch. So yeah, I mean, I got Volkan winning that fight. But you know what? At that line, light heavyweights, be careful sometimes. Or, if you feel comfortable, jump on it. Jump on it. Jump on it. What else we got? We got the man, Arseny. Usman is so cringe with his blessing, trying to copy Jorge. I missed that. What's he doing? Some type of blessing? There's only one street Jesus in the game. So big fan of Jorge Masvidal, man. This guy grew up street fighting right down the street. Not down the street, just a little bit south of me. 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Not far at all, man. Right from my hood to his hood, man. So down here in South Florida, he always represented. Jorge Masvidal, man, he's a cool dude. I'm a big fan of Jorge's. I really hope Jorge pulls this fight off. I'll be honest, the more I watch the guy, the more he's grown on me too, man. I really became a big fan of his over the last couple of fights and the way he carries himself. I think he's legit. That's what I think about the guy. I think he's authentic. I really like the way he carries himself. He's grown on me with his personality. I've always known he's a real dude, but he's legit. 40 years old, 40 subs. Who are you referring to on that? Is that in regards to Leonardo? I know Leonardo's almost 40, but maybe you're talking about his jiu-jitsu tournaments as well. Michelle's on Max, huh? I don't know. I don't know if Max is going to handle business, man. That's a tough fight for him. Volkanovski's the real deal. Volkanovski's pushing to be the greatest featherweight of all time. A lot of people, we've been talking about that recently. Who is the greatest featherweight of all time? I think Conor McGregor is the greatest featherweight of all time. And the reason why I think he's the greatest featherweight of all time, if you take a look at the guys that Conor McGregor has defeated, he was 7-0 in the featherweight division in the UFC. Took out guys like Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, Jose Aldo. Not only did he take, Chad Mendes as well. But not only did he take out Jose Aldo, when he took out Jose Aldo, nobody really. I mean, Aldo had one other loss, but you can't even count that. It was way back in the day. It was completely irrelevant. Aldo, for those of you guys that remember, Aldo was the kingpin for almost a decade from the WEC days, and nobody could even mess with him at all. And then McGregor goes out there and sleeps him within 30 seconds. So don't forget it. Aldo lost some fights after that, but McGregor took a lot from him, and he took a little bit of his chin. That was damage. You saw Aldo start to go out there, and all of a sudden he was getting finished by Max Holloway, this and that. Not to say that wouldn't have happened down the line, but let's not discredit what McGregor did. So, McGregor takes out Max Holloway with a torn ACL in the fight, out-grapples him, takes him down, out-classes him. I don't care if people want to talk about that was a young Max. That was a young McGregor too. Now, let's not discredit a win like that, right? These guys are evolving through the years, and that's still a big win. Both those guys were young, and McGregor was the better, younger fighter, and I still think McGregor wins that fight. But that's a win. Max Holloway, Jose Aldo, Chad Mendes, Dustin Poirier. So who's the other guys you want to argue that are the best featherweight fighters of all time, the featherweight GOAT? Jose Aldo is a guy that he defended the title so many times. But can you guys even ring off the names that he beat in the featherweight division? There's a couple of guys you could bring up. I mean, he took out Chad Mendez as well, but that's one of Conor's lower level victories. So who can you compare, like Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway, and Jose Aldo himself? Who are the wins you can compare? He did take out Frankie Edgar, right? Took out Frankie Edgar. That was a big win for him. Took out Frankie Edgar. Other than that, you're going to get a bunch of Cub Swansons, Ricardo Lamas type fighters. And not that there's any shame in defeating guys like that. But let's not compare them to Dustin Poirier. Let's not compare them to Max Holloway and Jose Aldo himself. So I got McGregor being the featherweight GOAT of all time. Max Holloway is a guy that was right there as well. But at this point, I would say Jose Aldo is even probably above Max. Even though Max defeated him, you got to take the whole picture into account. The double champ, 13 seconds. That's right. I said 30 seconds, 13 seconds. Let's see what you guys talking about. Don't forget a massive fight with Floyd. Exactly. You got to give credit where credit's due, right? The fight with Floyd Mayweather, that's credit in itself. And he actually looked very good in that fight. Exactly. He boxed with the best boxer of all time, one of the best boxers of all time. And connected a couple. He won 1 or 2 rounds, connected a nice uppercut, and did a lot better than he should have, in my opinion. Now, Arseny brings up a good point here. Artem Lobov is the featherweight GOAT, right? I think he's the GOAT of all time, but Artem the GOAT. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna get to the agenda now. Let's see. We got to talk about Mike Platinum Perry, and I'm gonna open the show up to you guys again. Chris Leben will be joining us around 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, so we still got some time on that. Let's see. If anybody, let's see. I'll put a little link here. Let's try to get some new faces in the show, man. If somebody wants to show their face for the first time, come join, and we could talk about Mike Platinum Perry for a minute, or if you have something else in your mind, we could talk about that as well. But Mike Platinum Perry, man, he might be looking to be in some trouble. For those of you guys that are not up to date, go to my Instagram. I got a little video over there. He knocked out this big old fat dude. It looked like, from what I gathered from it, he was just wilding out, acting crazy. I did comment on my Instagram post that it was his girlfriend or whatnot, but I guess we found out it was one of his girlfriend's friends. It looks like his girlfriend just completely was out of there as soon as that all went down. It looked like Perry was drunk or just high on life, and was getting crazy. A little bit of beef happened. He got mad because someone was trying to break him up from arguing or fighting with, I think, his girlfriend's relative. And we're bringing that boy Arsen. Hold on 1 second, boys. Arseny.
What's up, bro? Dude, I saw that full Mike Perry video, man.
You saw it?
Oh, that one guy, bro, dumb. Oh, my God, dumb as a doorknob. You see a young guy with screwed up ears, like a bunch of tattoos, who's like wacky the head, and you're going to try to charge at him?
Yeah. And the way he attacked Perry, right? So if you guys saw the video, he attacked Perry like this. He put his hands together. He did like a Power Ranger move. He went like this, and he pushed right on Perry's head, like he asked for it in a way, because here's the thing. All right, so if you saw how it all happened, he's like, Perry's like, I'll whoop, I'll F you up, whatever, and the guy was like, then do it. But I don't know if Perry would have necessarily just hit him. He might have, but I didn't know if he would have. You had to give him his fair chance. The other guy hit Perry first, right? Perry goes up, and the guy goes up to Perry and does like a double-handed mush to the face. So, if you didn't do that, maybe Perry just talked shit. But, as soon as you touch Perry, you're done for. You're going to get dropped. We saw Perry knock out another guy in downtown Orlando. I don't know if you guys saw that video where he drops that guy. That guy didn't even touch him. He walked up on him. Perry sucked him. But Perry's a wild dude, man.
Yo. The old guy tried to bless Perry.
Yeah, right.
Try to give him a blessing, bro. And Perry's like, no.
Yeah, that was tough. It was tough. Perry, we'll see what happens with him, man. I don't know. He might be in some trouble. But you know what? I think that I don't think it's that bad of a look for Perry. I think that anyone that's a Perry fan already knows he's a crazy dude. I think that everybody, you have to know what you're getting with Perry, and that's what it's going to be. And you know what? The next time he gets a fight in the UFC, whenever it is, he gets in trouble or whatnot, whenever it happens, It's going to be another fight that everyone's looking forward to, and it's going to be a big name draw. The UFC will not cut him. Somebody asked me that. They're not going to cut him, I don't think.
What do you?
A couple of people saying they think he's going to get dropped. I don't think he's going to get dropped. I think that he's here there to stay. I really do. And it might be they might give him a little time out. Maybe, with everything going on, though, it's not that big of a deal. He just fought. Give him a year off. Give Perry a year off. Make it seem. Let everyone forget this. People are fickle, right? People's minds are fickle. People will forget. And then bring Perry back, way down the line.
Yo, everyone forgot that Connor punched that grandpa at the Irish, and the grandpa took it better than Jose Aldo.
And that was something different too, right? So
he's a better chin, man. Yo,
man. That was messed up. That was messed up when he did that.
I would put money on that old guy in the pub against this and against the guy who Mike Perry knocked out. That would be a good match.
Yeah, I got the old Irish guy. Irish people can fight, and that guy. I saw the guy. I already saw the other guy's technique. We got a chance, right? When you're studying the odds, the more fight footage you can watch, the better. We actually got to see fight tape on him, bro, and that ain't gonna cut it, bro. That ain't gonna cut it. So, the other guy actually ate McGregor's slap like a beast too. So we know he has a chin on him too, right? He has a chin.
And the guy wasn't expecting it either. Because at least this guy kind of had an idea that something was coming back at him. Because he struck. And
Perry hit him with that right hook.
Yo, what do you think about Perry against the Nate Diaz super fight?
I love that fight. I would want to watch that fight right now almost more than anything. As far as Perry goes, Perry or Nate Diaz. The only other fight I would actually really like to see Nate fight in right now is the Gilbert Burns fight. I do like that fight. I know if you guys have been paying attention, they've been talking a little bit of crap to each other. And I think that Burns would probably whoop Nate up, but Nate is always game. So Nate's going to be in there for a fight, you know what I mean? And it's always a good time to watch Nate fight, right? Even though Jorge Masvidal, he was outclassed in that fight, but Jorge couldn't finish him, and Nate still has that cardio, so you always got to make it a 5-round fight, and you never know what could happen in there. Yeah,
and then Perry's going to have his dog in his corner, so, he's not going to have any –
Yo, seriously, bro. Seriously.
I feel like I see him like dating one of these like Instagram booty models next for some reason. I don't know, like Perry, like he's just gonna up it like one more. She's gonna have more plastic in her.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's out there, bro. You could expect anything from that guy. Yeah. That whole thing with that girl was never gonna last, bro. I don't really like to talk about other people's relationships, but listen, I run a show here. It's UFC related. That guy. You could tell it reminds me of people that you guys know who I'm talking about when you were younger and whatnot. Like that couple that has to flaunt so much that they're in love and that they're just like, he was so over the top, bro, right from the get-go. Like, take it easy, take it easy. The guy's bringing her in his corner and whatnot. And, it's just, you could tell. It's just, I'll make it even more simple. If you have half a brain, you can look at the two of them and understand what's going on and understand it's all crap. So,
yo, what do you think the odds of Cejudo's girlfriend staying with him?
Them, honestly, I think I know that's a good one too. It's hard to say though. You know why? I think that they're kind of trolling a little bit. I think they're kind of trolling with with everybody, and you never know, bro. Some of those Latina girls, man, they'll live and die for their man. So she might, she found her man Henry Cejudo, and he's a winner too, right? So she might take care of him, for the long haul. So.
Yo, Cejudo has to come back now because everybody knocking on him. O'Malley and Jan saying that it's his first girlfriend. He has to come back now. You know what I mean? No. Well,
he is coming back. That whole retirement was fake, man. We saw him on the Joe Rogan show. He's already calling out Alexander Volkanovski. He's tweeting about wanting to fight Volkanovski. He's like, "Are you scared to lose to a flyweight?" That's the fight that he wants, and we're gonna see him fight again for sure. We're gonna see him fight again.
You think
there's no doubt about it. He's 31 years old, I believe.
You think the UFC is going to give him Volkanovski?
I don't right now. From what I've heard, actually, from what I read and what I heard, they don't want to give him that fight. I don't think that they want to give him that fight, and I'll explain to you why. You give him that fight, right? Say he wins that fight. You go out there, you're a three-way champion now. No one's ever done that before. And not only are you a three-way champion, but like if we're gonna make you a three-way champion, like the Conor McGregor guy, right? You make him a double-weight champion, give him that opportunity to be the first double-weight champ. You want that guy to hang around the company, and you want to make money off him for years to come. If Henry Cejudo wins that fight, then I really do think he's out. And the UFC's not stupid, man. Dana White's onto that. He goes out there, he wins 3 belts, and then he can say, I really am the GOAT. No one's ever done that. And he disappears. And he's already causing controversy about his pay. He wants more money. That's why he's retiring. He wants a bigger payday. So you definitely don't give him that fight. Dana White is a genius. Dana White is the best promoter we've ever seen. The guy is as sharp as a tack. We've never seen anybody in the fight business as smart as him. And Dana White would never give him that opportunity to screw the UFC like that. You got to be on top of things. So no way.
And yeah, that's a good point, because let's say someone like Conor or even I don't know about GSP, but Conor for sure, they don't mind, let's say Conor winning the 170 belt and running off of the sunset, because they're going to make so much money in the pay-per-view that it's worth it. For Cejudo, you're not going to make that much money in the pay-per-view. He's not a big draw. You know what I mean?
Great point.
I put him as like out of like 10. Like, let's say you have Conor as 10, maybe Masvidal as like a 7, and Nate Diaz as a 7, John Jones as a 7. I don't know. This is just my opinion. Again, I'm not really an expert, but I would say like I'd put Cejudo as a 4 on that scale. What do you think?
That sounds about right. I would agree with you on that. That sounds about right. You know,
yeah,
McGregor is a whole different type of guy. But now again though, you're right. You know, they're going to make a lot of money even if McGregor, even let's say, like you said, if McGregor had a retirement fight, that fight's going to bring them in so much money. It's like it's worth it for the UFC just to take that money in. But you know what? McGregor ain't going anywhere for another 5 years. Trust me on that. McGregor will be fighting. I put money on that right now. McGregor will be fighting at least till he's 35 years old. He'll have a fight when he's 35 years old, especially for what's all happening right now. He lost so much time on fighting, right? Right now, he was supposed to fight this whole year. I believed him too. He wanted to fight, and this whole virus thing messed it up. So I think that he has a lot of time to make up in the game. And I think that McGregor's 31, I think, that over the next 4 years, he's going to be putting in work. And he'll be collecting a major paycheck every time he fights. It doesn't matter. Think about it. When McGregor's older, he's still going to be have a humongous draw, bro. You're going to want to watch every fight McGregor fights in.
Dude,
so he ain't going anywhere.
I'll have the ultimate respect for McGregor when he's going to be like 35 years old, worth $1 billion, and still fighting in his underwear for money, man. Like that I would respect that guy, man. Like you know what I mean? You think about it, like that kind of money probably changes you, man. Like you don't need to be taking damage and risking your reputation, you know what I mean? But like if he's still fighting until 35, he's probably going to be worth, okay, maybe not $1 billion, but if he's worth, let's say he made $100 million from the Floyd fight. You know, his whiskey company is a private company, so we don't know the numbers based on what he's saying. Obviously, he's going to be hyping it up. But let's say, you know, his whiskey keeps getting more successful. Like he could easily be worth like $500-700 million, like when he's 35 years old and still fighting. You know what I mean? And still fighting. You know what I mean? Like, which is kind of crazy.
Bringing in more money, baby. He loves his money, so.
Yeah, respect to that. I mean, think about it, man. Like, if you had
think about this, though, Arsh, what about this? Remember how Mayweather? So if you remember how Mayweather's career took place, bro. Mayweather went from making this much money. Let me see if I can get this on the camera for you guys. Like this much money, and quickly went up and up in a rapid period in time, bro. And if you want to talk about something that's all in the development, like the sport of MMA is developing in front of our eyes, but the fighter pay has been developing in front of our eyes. Remember just a couple of years ago, these guys that we were watching, our favorite fighters, were making, if they're lucky, $100,000. The big names were making $100K. Now they're making $500,000. You know, you got guys like Alistair Overeem making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's changing quickly. So who's to say what the pay is going to be for a guy like Conor McGregor, period, anyway, in 4 years, in 3 years? It could be like, think about what Mayweather did towards the end of his career. I mean, he was older, you know, and maybe Conor McGregor tried. You know what? I do believe this. Conor McGregor admires Floyd Mayweather a lot and takes certain aspects of his game over to MMA. And don't be surprised if he shadows Floyd a little bit with that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe picking the easier fights, making the big money every time you step in there, and just keep winning.
And
hey, Ars, anyway, I think there's a little bit of a reverb. I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe, I don't know if you lower it a little bit when I talk. I don't know. I hear like a little background. Not bad, though. Not bad. But maybe, I don't know. Everyone comment if it's bad, though.
So, what do you think about how big of a pay-per-view draw is Khabib on his own? So, like, let's say Mayweather's like 100. on a scale, but he's 100 out of 100. What would you put Habib at as an individual paper, like him against this?
You're talking like Madden ratings almost. You know, Madden, how you have the overall ranking. You're talking about like ratings, like to 99.
Well, I don't know about Madden ratings, but I'm just saying, like, let's say Conor's the biggest, he's the biggest pay-per-view draw by far, right? Let's put him at like 100 out of 100, right?
Oh, okay. In regards to that, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, not in terms of skills, in terms of a pay-per-view draw, like how much money he can bring in. How much would you put Habib at? I'm just curious.
Okay, so if you want to set the marker on Conor, right? Because Conor's the number one, right? So you want to set Conor at 100, you're saying?
Yeah.
I would say that Khabib, in my opinion, to my knowledge, I would say Khabib is at like a 92, 93.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's up there, man. Don't get it twisted. There's a major market, man, and that whole other part of the world that's really high on Khabib. So I mean, from some of the rumors that I've heard, Khabib brings in a lot of views. I'm not sure exactly as compared to McGregor. I'd have to really look into the analytics and whatnot. But Khabib is right there too, man. There's a lot of Muslim fans that are big on Khabib. A lot of Muslim fans. Here's the thing though. I don't know exactly how that translates into pay-per-view buys exactly too, because like McGregor has more of the the European and the American side, that actually are buying. I don't know how that works over in those countries. If they're buying pay-per-views, I really don't know how that works.
Yo, remember Habib's army? Remember that UFC embedded where it was Conor against Habib and he had his little Habib army and they all like hug him and like worship the guy.
Dude, they run deep, bro. They run deep.
Bro, I'm not gonna say it, but someone had a really funny joke in the comments on that. I'm not gonna say it because it's a little inappropriate, but I think you may know what I'm alluding to.
I didn't see it. Tell me. I missed some of the comments.
He was like, that's Habib's like 69 virgins or something.
Oh God. Oh man.
It was terrible, but yo, it was funny, man. Those guys were like, they're like running there. They're like,
They love him, bro. Well, he's the man, bro. He's the man too. In my opinion, I think that Khabib is the best pound for pound fighter. I think he's the best pound for pound fighter we've ever seen. People like to say John Jones, and hey, argue it to the end, man. It's close. John Jones was a nasty fighter. Khabib is way more dominant in a way tougher division. Yo, Ars, I don't know. We got that background volume. I think a little bit. No. Do you have headphones? Do you have headphones at all?
No, my bad. No, I'm just trying to mute myself every time that
all right, try that. Maybe because I don't know if you guys, whoever's listening, comment if it's bad when I talk, because I don't know. Maybe it's just my headphones too, but it's like bad when it's like a little like a repeat, like a thing. Let me see. Now I think it's better, bro. You muted me. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Whenever. Yeah, got you. But what was I just saying? We were talking about Khabib and John Jones. Tell me, Ars, you tell us how you feel after that. I'll say real quick. I think Khabib is the best pound-for-pound fighter. I think the lightweight division is the most stacked, most competitive division in the UFC, in the world, period. And he's already went out there taking out stud fighters like Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor. Who else is Khabib taking out? Khabib's taking out a lot of very, very skilled fighters.
RDA.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, even back in the day, man, Gleason Tibau is a lower level fighter. But, solid guy back in the day. Michael Johnson, Ally Quinta.
Yeah.
It's a tough lightweight fighter. The lightweight division is just so much more stacked. You know what? And I'm going to pull it up because I'm probably sleeping on a lot of guys that he took out too, no?
Yeah, dude, I was going to agree with you 100%. Man, like, if you look at level of competition, forget about it. I mean, John Jones was like the new breed of MMA fighter, and he was taking out
in that division.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm not saying that the old guard wasn't
Edson Barbosa. We forgot about Edson Barbosa too, man.
Yeah. So, and like, I mean, he just, I mean, before that, Edson Barbosa was really, he looked like a top prospect, and now Habib just destroyed him, man. Now he's just like, he ended up going down a division. Now he seems like he's almost like a gatekeeper, even though I do think he won his last two fights. You know what I mean? He kind of like, after Habib, I mean, I don't know if that mentally affected him, but or maybe Habib just kind of set up the blueprint to beat Barbosa. But yeah, I mean, Habib is, if you compare it, like, yeah, John Jones beat maybe the bigger names, like,
they were like past their prime, and it was in a very shallow division, the light heavyweight division. Those guys that he was beating, I hate to like even throw shade at them, but like, I mean, you're talking about like the Shogun Ruas, who's very tough, but you know what I mean? Like, He's a little bit slower. He's a tougher guy, but it was a different generation type of fighter. You know, Bones was taking out guys like Vitor Belfort, who's really was a middleweight fighter. Who else did he take out?
Chael Sonnen. That's another example.
Chael Sonnen was a middleweight fighter. I just feel like the big names, Rampage Jackson, Rampage Jackson, you see how he looks just, a couple years later. The guy's like 400 pounds. I don't know. Rampage Jackson was a tough fighter, but, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, if you think about it also logically, right? In terms of most men are going to be either naturally going to be either fighting around the 155 or 170. So logically speaking, that's going to be the two most competitive divisions, and it seems like it. I mean, I guess you can kind of throw maybe 145 in there as well. Actually, it's interesting. 135 is getting really is crazy competitive. Maybe soon overtake, be the most competitive division. I mean, if you look actually at the top 10 of 135, who you got? You got Petr Yan, you got Aljamain Sterling, you got Jose Aldo, you got Marlon Moraes, you got Henry Cejudo. I mean, I know he was retired, but let's just keep him in there. What else? Asun Sao, you got Sean O'Malley, you got as an up-and-comer. I mean, 135.
Cody Stamon, who's and Cody Stamon is fighting. He has a big fight ahead of him. They just announced that fight. Cody's going to be fighting. Pull it up real quick. It's a big fight for Cody, man. I really hope he wins too, man. After losing his brother, he looked good in his last fight. He made some money on that fight. He's taking Jimmy Rivera. Jimmy Rivera, man. He's been
too. Jimmy Rivera is jacked, dude. Jesus Christ. The guy is like freaking. He's like how you call Volkanovski a moose? Jimmy Rivera's a moose also.
Yeah, he is. What's his name? JT MMA. Did I miss the Crippler? No, man. The Crippler will be on later tonight. Actually, my bad. I was supposed to have that here. Let me fix that real quick. So you guys can see that. 9:30, man. I appreciate you actually reminding me, JT. Yeah, 9:30, the Crippler will be here. What happened with Anthony Rumble Johnson, says the double champ? You got that, Arse? You want me to go in? Yeah. We talked about the size of his skull.
Yeah, dude. Head, bro. His head is like a freaking bowling ball, bro. If you chop off his head and you roll it down, like I said, you're gonna get like a strike. You don't have to be good, bro. You could, it'd be terrible and you get strikes all day.
Oh, how do we forget about real quick? We got to touch upon that. Merab Davashvili. Josh brings up Merab, man. Merab Davashvili is a beast in the weight class, right?
Isn't Merab's like he's like the Habib of 135?
Yeah. He's in the bantamweight division. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's another guy in the bantamweight division. That's another stud.
Yeah, now to think about it, I think it might be, if for a fact bantamweight is top 3 most competitive, it may even be number 1 right now. I don't know. What do you think, Teller? Like, what would you put top 3 most competitive divisions right now?
I would always say lightweight. Lightweight's always right there. Bantamweight is definitely right there. Hold on real quick. I'm going to pull up the rankings of the division. Let me see what's the most stacked division right now. I mean, it typically always is like bantam, feather, lightweight, welterweight, one of those. Here, let me pull this up for you guys too. Let's see. You guys see that, right? Pretty good. All right. So, I mean, if you ask me, we'll take a look. I mean, we're starting off with this is the flyweight division right here, right? We're moving down. Flyweight division, of course, it's going to be one of the more shallow divisions, so that's not really even in it, but it's getting better. Then we got the bantamweight division, like you said. We got the champ. I mean, I don't know why they don't. Well, yeah, because there is no champion. What am I talking about? It's going to be either Petr Yan or Jose Aldo sitting here, and then. But look at these guys, man. Marlon Moraes, this guy, Savage Moraes, Sterling, Savage. Yan's going to be the champion. Yan will be up here. Cody Garbrandt, he's a stud of a fighter coming off a beautiful win. Corey Sandhagen, he's a stud of a fighter, even coming off that loss the way he did. And that guy's a solid fighter. Jose Aldo, Hall of Famer. Pedro Munoz, stud. Asun Sao, stud. Jimmy Rivera. Cody Stamen on the rise. Rob Font, stud. You go out there any day, you fight Rob Font, you could lose. Dominic Cruz, a guy that's in the running to be one of the greatest of all time in the bantamweight division, that's still in the mix. Coming off that loss, but you know what? It's okay. Lost to one of the best fighters of all time. And then you got Sean O'Malley, Song Yadong, Marlon, Chito Vera is not here too. Let's not forget about Chito Vera, who beat Song Yadong. John Dodson too, whatever. He's all right.
Frankie Edgar now.
Frankie Edgar. Frankie, man. Now, look at how stacked the featherweight division is, though, bro, too. Featherweight division's right there. These are like one-on-one, man. Volkanovski, Holloway, Zabit, Ortega, Korean Zombie, Yair, Calvin, Josh Emmett. Frankie's gone now, but Stevens, Ige is a stud. Arnold Allen, these guys are studs. Sodiq Yusuf. But look at the lightweight. I just think the lightweight division, I don't know, man. It's scary. Justin Gaethje. I mean, honestly, if you look at the Dober and Benils, I mean, it's kind of dropping off right now. The lightweight division's it's kind of a little shallow right now.
Yeah, Cerrone's coming off of a couple losses, and he's still in top 15, right? He's coming off 3 losses, right?
Yeah, I believe so. We lost to Cerrone. We lost to Tony.
Oh, yeah, Tony.
He got robbed in that Pettis fight. He won that Anthony Pettis fight, so I don't care about that. He won that fight, actually. He was out there for winning. Yeah.
It would still be 3 losses, though, because Gaethje, Ferguson, and Connor, right?
No. That Pettis fight was more recent. The Pettis fight should have.
Before that, he had 3 losses. Right before the Pettis fight, he had 3 losses, I think.
Oh,
right?
yeah. So is it 4 losses now?
Yeah, so technically it's 4 losses, but really it's 3.
Yeah,
but still,
you're right.
Yeah.
But look at the guys we're talking about, too. McGregor, Gaethje, and Ferguson. Those are 3 of the 4 best lightweights in the world. And then he beat Anthony Pettis. So, Cerrone will hop right back in the mix, man. I had him over Al Quinta, too. Yo, but check this out. The top 10 of the lightweight division. That's what's so nasty, bro. Khabib, Gaethje, Poirier, Ferguson, McGregor. Hooker's been looking like a beast. Charles Oliveira's a stud. Actually, maybe the top 5 is really where it's at. Islam Makhachev is a stud, too. But maybe I would say the top 5 is the deepest in the lightweight division, the top 5. You know what I mean? Then it does actually – it's not that – these guys are solid fighters, but it's starting to – Dober's on the rise, too. But it's getting a little shallow compared to what it was like in the previous years.
I was just thinking? Like watching Jan, I love Jan, but he's actually a small guy for the 135 division. So he's very great. Like he could, if he were to win this, he could easily drop down to 125 and win 125. Or that would be a great fight, him against Figueroa for the 125 title, because he's not a big 135er at all. Like Uriah Faber looked like he had way more muscle than Jan. Who else? Jimmy Rivera, way more muscle. Jose Aldo is about the same height, but he has like way more muscle than Jan. So I'm not saying I'm not taking anything away from him. He has great knockout power, but I'm just saying I think he could easily be a 2-division champ, actually.
Yeah. I would be curious to see what he says about that. If how he would feel in that weight cut. But I agree. I definitely agree with what you're saying. He's like a real bantamweight fighter. He's not making a major weight cut. He's a solid dude. But you're right. He's a little bit on the smaller side. But he's still muscular. Like I think he's a perfect size bantamweight fighter. He has a tank. He can go forever. Like Aldo, man, I think Aldo's going to be killing himself. I know he looked pretty good. He did look good in that Moraes fight. But I think that was a fight. Moraes was coming off getting finished the way he did by Cejudo too. Moraes might have not have been the same as he normally is. Might have had a little bit of doubt in his mind. And that was a close fight. I think that Piotr Jan is I can't wait. I can't wait for you guys to see what I think that he's about. You guys watch Saturday. I think he's going to show everybody exactly what I think. I think he's just a beast. Yeah,
no, I definitely agree with that. I was just talking, if you look at his size, like look at freaking Marlon Moraes, bro. That guy is That guy is huge. I don't know how he makes 135 pounds.
But you saw how he faded in that Cejudo fight. You'll never see Jan fade like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's like some kind of trade-off, man. Like some guys, you know what I mean? Like some guys, like, okay, perfect example of a guy who's freaking huge, but somehow is able to perform really well in the weight class is what's his name? Ricky Martin. The guy who's gonna fight at Adesanya. He looks like Ricky Martin.
Paulo Costa.
Paulo Costa. Yeah, Paulo Costa. He's a guy who I don't know how he makes the weight class, but he looks like great. Like his chin is really good. I mean, he took shots from Yoel Romero. He didn't look like he gasses out either. Again, he hasn't fought 5 rounds to my knowledge, but like he's one guy who, he can keep that size, but somehow he still doesn't fade. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think of another example. Usman too. I mean, he's a big 170 guy, and he has great cardio. Habib also. Habib's pretty big for 155. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, but like those guys, like Figueroa's pretty is a big 125.
He's a very big he's a very big flyweight fighter. He's had problems with weight issues. He missed weight when he beat Joseph Benavidez. Otherwise, he would have been the champion probably right now. Or I don't know how they would have worked that, but that's why they're running that fight back against Joseph Benavidez.
Yeah, but man, like I don't know. That's a dumb. Like I won money betting Figueroa by any kind of finish, and I'm probably gonna bet him by any kind of finish again. Obviously,
I wouldn't hate on that.
What's up?
I wouldn't hate on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because yeah, I remember. I actually money started coming in. It was interesting because Benavidez was a favorite, but like I put half the money at plus 300, and then right before the fight, I added some more at plus 250. So I got like plus 275, as an average. But like so, money started coming in on Figueroa by finish. But I think he finishes him again. And usually these rematches, they're more definitive. Like that's why actually I was thinking about Volkanovski by decision, but now I'm thinking that Volkanovski has a shot of knocking Max out. Even though I do think Max's chin is incredible. I mean, Max is. I don't know. I was rewatching. I've rewatched their fight like a few times, and like I don't know. I didn't really see any point where Max looked like he was wobbled or looked like he was going to get knocked out. I mean those. And like, I don't know how Max was able to eat so many leg kicks. Like, bro, like I think I would just collapse on the ground. I mean, obviously, they're fighters, but still, bro, like who the hell can eat so many leg kicks like that?
It's true. It was nasty, no, for sure.
And he was trying to play it off. He was like, oh, you know what I mean? After the fight, I was dancing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, nothing affected me or something. I think he might be, I think he might be sandbagging, like pretending like he's trading on Zoom, pretending like he doesn't think fight to give Volkanovski a false sense of confidence.
100%. He's been playing. I call it playing possum. You call it sandbagging. I agree. I was talking about that earlier. That's BS. He wasn't doing Zoom training. Daniel Cormier already called him out on that. He called him out. He said that I just talked to him and he said he had gnats and he had one of his training partners over at the house. So it's not true. Come on. Yeah. Let me tell you what, if you're that dumb that you're fighting a rematch for the title and after a guy that you got whooped up in the first time around, and you're telling me that you can't find a training partner, that if you're that worried about the virus, you're telling me you don't have one friend you can rely on that's also willing to train with one of the greatest fighters of all time, Max Holloway, that's not willing to sacrifice, not going out in the public, sleeping on your couch. You feed the guy, feed him up some of that good Hawaiian food, and let him sleep on your couch and train with him every day. And pick maybe one or two guys. Pick two guys. That's plenty of bodies, bro. If you got two bodies to train with, pick the two best guys that you train with at your camp. Let them live at your house. No one's getting the virus. You guys stay there. You guys eat at the house, and you train together. And if he's that dumb that he didn't realize to do that, and he's just Zoom training, I don't believe it. I think Max is smarter than that. Daniel Cormier actually said Max is one of the smartest guys that he's dealt with. So I think Max Holloway comes off like that jock. He comes off like that jock kind of dodo a little bit. But I think that he has a big old skull, and I think there's a little bit of a brain in there. I think he knows. I don't think that he's training just on Zoom. I don't buy it.
But one thing I'm just thinking about though, but I just don't know how. I mean, is Max going to just learn how to check leg kicks? Because I think he's had a problem checking leg kicks his whole career. I mean, there's just certain fighters like Nate Diaz, Max. I'm trying to think who else. People say Piotr Jan doesn't check leg kicks. But I have seen like other like footage and people saying that the reason he doesn't check leg kicks is because he eats the leg kick to see where your head is so he can counter you with a shot to the head. So I've seen people say that. I've seen other people say that too. So I'm not sure about Jan, but I know for sure Nate and Nick, I think, had problems checking leg kicks. And
they did. For sure they did.
Yeah. Max never checked leg kicks.
Mm-hmm. No, he's bad at it too. He sits on his front foot when he goes. He likes to throw that jab. He likes to just, he has beautiful striking. He likes to touch you up, but he leans on his front leg. He's always leaning forward. And he's reaching out, hitting you, and his leg's sitting there to be chewed up. So
yeah, do you think like who I think could be so great at using that is like someone like Stefan Struve, man. You would think that a guy who's like 7 foot tall, he could just use those knee stomps, calf kicks, inside leg kicks, and just keep someone at a distance. use your jab, like, you know, fake the jabs, fake a few punches, and then just batter the guy's legs. And especially in the heavyweight division, you know, you have so much, you know, muscle and force behind those leg kicks. You don't need to hit him with 100 leg kicks to take him out. You might hit him with like 20 leg kicks.
Yo, what about the calf kicks? The calf kicks nowadays.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You hit him with like 10 calf kicks, hit him with like 10 knee stomps, and again, you could just finish them based on that, or at least they're on such wobbly legs that at that point you just piece them up, you know?
It's true.
Like
What I will. Hey, Will, hey, if you could do me a favor, just lower your backdrop volume. We got to repeat. There you go, brother. What's up with you, Will? You got headphones? Put some headphones on if you got headphones, Will. Will. We're going to let Will go look for his headphones, Ars. Will, they're over there. Look at the corner. Down that way.
Yo, you know, we were talking about like this whole Zoom situation. You know, maybe actually fighters will maybe like match better, because if he has a trainer living at his house, then, you know what I mean? They could be like training. Think about it. There's no distractions now. It's not like you got to worry about any distractions. I mean, you're literally living and breathing this every day.
Exactly. It's a benefit. Yeah. That's how it should be. For people that have their head on their shoulders, it should be a benefit. And
you know what? Like, you know, Max, if he learns how to check those leg kicks, like I would bring in some crazy Muay Thai guy into my camp to just kick my legs, and I would just practice kicking leg kicks all day long, because all it takes is one nice check, and either Volkanovski can break his leg or he's going to stop throwing leg kicks. Remember what happened against the fat guy who fought Greg Hardy, Jorgen De Castro? Remember Greg Hardy checked him with one leg kick, and it was over for Jorgen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All it takes is one. So that's what I would do if I was Max, man. I would just have some crazy Muay Thai guy just practice unloading on my legs and just check it. And, you know, eventually, you know, second nature. And it seems like Volkanovski's doubling down on the leg kicks. I mean, he's basically showing what he's going to do. I mean, you saw in the countdown, his coach showed the bag, and then even now you see him in the embeddeds. He's practicing those leg kicks. I mean, it's like you know exactly what's coming at you. There's no surprises. You know what I mean?
True. Let's hear from the boy Will. What's up, Will?
Hey man, sorry for the noise.
Oh no, it's all good. It sounds much better now, man.
Yeah, my brother. It's going to be almost fight weekend, and I'm super excited. Just to watch the Fight Island played out. You know, it's gonna be fun. I got some bets on this weekend, and I can't tell you how much excited I am.
That's what's up. You're going to be joining us for the Fight Companion, Will?
For sure, man.
That's what's up, man. Good. It's going to be a good one, man.
For sure. I'm obviously pumped too for the Chris Leben interview you're going to have in a few moments. You know, I saw him since watching MMA. You know, like
so Will, you're an OG fan from back in the day. You know about Leben, huh?
Yeah, brother. I mean, I just pay my subscription to the UFC Fight Pass and watch the season like 2 or 3 times, you know, repeatedly.
That boy Will. That's what's up, man.
Hey, my
It's
brother.
awesome, bro. I've seen all those Ultimate Fighter seasons, every single one of them. I've seen every episode multiple times too. I love them. And you know what, man? The rumor is they're working on another season coming up soon. So I live for that. I live for that, bro. I cannot wait to see the Ultimate Fighter, with some modern, new type of generation fighters on the show. It'll be crazy.
Yo. Oh no,
yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
I was gonna say about I was just thinking I don't know if you saw the line. Rebus is almost minus 900 now, and you know for a second I was like, oh, you know maybe it's worth putting on something on Paige, and I watched some fight footage of Rebus, and I'm like, yo, she's gonna whoop Paige's ass. Like there's no question about it.
She's gonna destroy her. I really think so too.
Yeah, but like minus 900 is too crazy. I mean, there's no point of even betting at that point. So you're gonna
guys. I'll be right back. Arsene and Will, you guys take over the show for a second.
All right. Yeah. No. I was gonna say like, yo, even if you put 1,000 on freaking
I feel like my brother mother.
What's up?
Arsene, you are like from another mother, dude. Really?
Yeah, bro. What's
Hey.
called?
Hey, let me tell you, if you're planning on betting on Rivas or
No. For a second, I was thinking about like just putting a tiny amount of money on Paige. I thought that maybe she had a chance, but then I started watching some fight footage, and I'm like, no way, Paige has no chance. I was like, because I was watching the line, and I'm like, bro, like I think the last time I checked, I think Paige was like plus 650. The Rebus was like minus 900, and I was like, oh shit, like. You know, I could get 6.5 times my money, but then like I saw footage and I was like, no way. Amanda Ribas is a savage, and Paige is, I mean, you know, she's not a bad fighter, but Amanda Ribas is on another level.
I mean, she's very young, you know. I saw a video of her interviewing from MMAJunkie.com, which I love that girl. I can tell you, very honest with you, it's a lovely girl. You know, it's cute and it's very young. You know, it's great for me.
I heard you guys talking about Rebus and Paige Van Zandt, huh?
Yep.
Let me ask you, Will, who do you like better? You like Paige? You like Rebus better, or you like Valentina Shevchenko? Who looks the best?
Oh God. You know, I will go for Amanda Rivas.
Wow. See, that's why I added her in there. I had a feeling that you might have liked Rivas.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you can choose seller, which of these three would you choose to be if you were you know, like single? Would you use to be your girlfriend, or maybe pretending someone of those three girls?
I'll let Arsene answer that one.
I'm gonna go for Chris Cyborg. No, no, I actually love Chris Cyborg, so I don't mean to like offend her. You know, I love her. I think she's a.
Some guys are into that stuff, man. She'll put her legs around your neck and she'll pop your head like a pimple.
I would say of the
Tim Bender likes Rachel Ostovich.
What's up? Yeah,
Tim Bender right over there.
But you know what? Rachel Ostovich looks like any other Instagram model, bro. Like you see like hundreds of them, bro. On you know what I mean?
I really can't see her doing porn after her MMA career. Really.
She looks like that.
OnlyFans. That's like, what was that? Yo, tell her. Remember I texted you? There was like some MMA fighter. She started like an OnlyFans account. She claims she made like 20 grand in like a week. And I'm like, bro, who pays for that shit? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, like how, like.
I think there's people that pay for it. I really do. I think they make money off that. And it's funny because actually one of the guests that I'm going to be bringing on the show, she's an up and comer, and she actually has an OnlyFans. And I don't think I'm putting her on blast in the least bit, because I think if you look at her Instagram, she has it right in her bio. And she's one of the up and coming fighters that a lot of you guys are going to be excited that I'm going to be having on the show here in the next couple of weeks. So I think that she makes money, in my opinion. I'll give you guys a hint. I'm going to tell you guys, but then actually stay tuned to the end of the show. I'm going to tell you which female fighter that has an OnlyFans account that's going to be joining the show here in the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned. Remind me if I forget.
Bro, I mean, honestly, I don't blame them. How much do you get paid in the UFC? Like to start off with like 10 and 10 or whatever the hell you're getting paid, bro. And then if that fighter that I was reading online that has a page, she claims she made like 20 grand in a week, bro, forget about it. Would you rather
Paige Van Zandt? Was it Paige Van Zandt?
No, it wasn't Paige Van Zandt. It was
she makes more money off advertisements off her Instagram than she makes you.
Of course. Yeah. Would you rather be getting punched? And again, it's also different for like it's an option for a woman. For a man, it's not really an option. You can't just make an OnlyFans page if you're a dude. You get $0, bro. You can get $0.
It's different for sure.
Man, bro, like so you're not gonna make any money, but for a woman, it's an option. You know what I mean? Like, and especially
there's money there.
Dude, I was gonna tell you about this. Like, I feel like another thing, I'm surprised more fighters aren't starting like alcohol brands. Like I saw that Josh Barnett started his own whiskey. I'm like, yo, you want more money? Just start promoting your own brand. Like Jorge Masvidal has his own mezcal now. Why not, man? You're a fighter. Like, think about it.
Hey, you know who's a fighter that has their own liquor? It's actually, I really believe that it's good. For those of you guys, by the way, if you didn't check out the Josh Barnett on the Joe Rogan Experience, that was an amazing episode. Josh Barnett, if you guys aren't familiar with him, he was the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. He was the youngest UFC champion ever until John Jones beat his record by a couple months. And Josh Barnett, man, is the baby-faced assassin. That's a guy I would love to have on the show. He's a genius, that guy. But the point being is that he started his own whiskey company, and he's a whiskey connoisseur, and he knows what he's talking about. And when you hear him talk about it, I'm not the type of guy that's sold easily, man. But when I heard him talking about what he does with his whiskey and how much he's into it, I'm like, I guarantee that whiskey is delicious. I'm telling you, the way he talks about it, he knows his stuff. And I actually was doing some research. I'm gonna pull it up right now. I'll give you guys the name of it. I might be ordering a bottle, man.
Yo, he's such a smart guy. Like, dude, when I heard him speak, he's so well spoken. I was like, Jesus, man, he should be like a scholar, not a fighter. But yeah, he's a really smart dude. And what's called? You know what was cool? What I thought on that interview, he was talking about how he works out with like a club. I'm like, that's fucking cool. Like, I've never heard about that before. Like, he says he uses a 22-pound, and mind you, like, the guy has like tree trunk legs, really strong guy, and he says all he uses to work out is like a 22-pound club, and he like swings it around. And I'm like, yo, that's fucking crazy. Like, maybe maybe all of us should start like buying a fucking club. You know what I mean?
That's one way to do it, right? Hey, Josh Barnett's like a Viking too, bro. When you look at him,
bro, his legs, bro, he is super strong. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
dude,
people think
when I first got into the game, bro, he was like one of the most like highly touted prospects, bro. I remember, like, or if you don't even want to call him a prospect, but like as he was starting the fight, bro, like he had his little controversy with the UFC. You know, he fought in the UFC, then he left, and there was like some issues. But and he had that, like JT brings up, man, he had that catch wrestling style, which was really cool because he was a strong wrestler. That was his background, but he implemented the submissions in it. You know what I mean? Those powerful submissions, you know, those head and arm triangle chokes, those guillotines, those power submissions, you know, and he was a stud at that stuff. I'm a big fan of his. I'm going to try to get him on the show, man. I'm going to do my best to get him on the show.
Yo, I remember I was kind of pissed because he was supposed to fight Fedor, but then the fight didn't materialize because Josh tested positive for the juice. I think.
Yes, that's right.
About that, because that would have been a really good fight.
Hey, do you know who was his last fight? Josh Burton in UFC. I don't remember something. And I was
you know what? Josh had I gotta pull it up, but Josh had a tough run towards the end of his career. I know he got submitted by Ben Rothwell. It might have been the Ben Rothwell fight. Hey, Will, if any chance, I don't know why there's a background volume. Do you have any type of sound in the background?
Let me check. Yeah, I
hear like a background, but when I mute you, it goes away. So I know,
like pressing the.
I know it's coming from you because when I mute you, it goes away. Hello. Yeah, see, it's coming from you somehow. But I see you have headphones on, so I'm confused. You don't have the volume also playing on your computer too, do you? On both? It's like a background, bro. Oh, do you have a YouTube? Do you have the YouTube? I don't know. Can you lower I don't know.
Yo, in the meanwhile, remember Brett Rogers? Whatever happened to that guy? The guy that
that guy was a security guard.
He was like a tire mechanic. Wasn't he like a tire mechanic?
He gave Fedor Emelianenko a run for his money for a couple of minutes, and then Fedor slept him.
Did he knock out Andrei Arlovski? Or no?
Did. Yes, I think he did.
Yeah,
he did.
Hey, remember? It's still the.
Let's see. Maybe it's better now. Testing. I hear a little bit. I don't know. Hello. Yeah, it's coming from you, Will. I don't know why.
What are you hearing exactly? Because I don't.
Arson, you hear well, correct?
Yeah, I'm hearing also.
Yeah, there's like a background, Will.
I don't know what.
I know it's weird because you have headphones on too.
Yeah, what's it sound like? I don't know.
It's like repeating, like whatever I say, it's just like, like muffled in the background, but it's repeating. You know what I'll do? If you could, just mute yourself, and then whenever you talk, unmute yourself. Okay?
All right.
Oh, I was thinking, what are your predictions for Fight of the Night?
Fight of the Night predictions for UFC 251. Let's take a look at the card real quick. I'm kind of leaning
I got Jan versus Aldo.
Jan versus Aldo. I think that's definitely a major candidate to win, unless Jan stops him early, though. It might play out like that Max Holloway, that second fight where he stops him in the first or second round early. I think it was the first round, right? They start brawling out, and then it's just an early finish. I don't know if Aldo can take those shots.
Yo, you know what was crazy, actually? Which is interesting. What I saw interesting. So I saw him when he fought, they put the UFC put up him fighting Faber. And what I thought interesting is that Petr Yan has a very low volume style, right? But he still averages like 5.63 significant strikes per minute, which is insane considering he barely throws punches. Like if you watch him against Faber, he puts like a lot of pressure on you, walks forward, waits for you to make a mistake, then capitalize. I mean, that's what he did against Rivera. He basically did almost nothing during the rounds, and then he almost knocked out Rivera in the last like minute of round 1 and round 2. So he has that kind of like, I call it the Michael Myers style, where he's just like stalking you, and then all of a sudden he sees you make a mistake, or let's say like, yeah, and like I was actually watching like a Dan Hardy analysis on him, and again, Dan Hardy says that he sometimes purposely makes mistakes to see how you react to it, so that he can catch you with it. Which I've never seen that, and I wasn't even sure about that, but like I thought that's insane, like to. And like the fact that he's stoic enough to pull that off is pretty fucking insane, because I can't think of any other fighter who did that, who like purposely made mistakes to try to see how the other fighter would react, and then he can counter, you know what I mean, counter that mistake.
When you have a chin like Jan, you can get away with that too, because he can eat your shot too. He'll eat it, you know what I mean, and he's going to connect on you. And good luck eating his shot, because when he hits you flush, he finishes a lot of guys. You saw what he did to Faber. He kicked him with the end of his toe, knocked him out, man.
And it was nice because he held his head down to land that perfect shot. Like I didn't even realize at first. At first I thought he he actually held his head down to basically force his leg into his head.
Michelle brings up a good point, man. That Jessica Andrade. Oh wait, no, actually she didn't even say that. I hope Rose and Jessica is like we. Oh, she kind of did, yeah. I was gonna say the Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade, that rematch. That's a fight that could be the candidate to be fight of the night. If somebody doesn't get finished, they might just be going balls to the wall for 3 rounds. So
yeah, I mean that's a tough one to touch, because even though I do agree with Rose, with the whole situation with Rose probably gonna win, but I mean Andrade, man, like what if she does the same thing again? What if she hits Rose with with one of her really hard shots? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do think it's like definitely most likely Rose is going to win, but I don't know, man. Andrade does have that, like, she does have that X factor, man. And I don't know.
Let's see. What else we got? Everyone's talking about Brett Rogers. I guess he got arrested too, huh? There's some story Rogers got arrested. He was clapping cheeks in the back. People said he was clapping cheeks in the shower. I was reading a bunch of crazy comments in here, bro. People want to see that Zhang versus Rose fight though too, right? So, hey, let's also take this all into consideration too, man. Andrade just got knocked out by Zhang. If you expect that this fight to take place the way I do, it's going to be big exchanges from the beginning, just the way that the first fight was. Rose was tagging up Andrade early. Hopefully Andrade can eat all those shots like she did the first time, because she might get wobbled. One of those might just wobble her a little bit. So don't sleep. We've seen Rose go out there, Thug Rose, and we've seen her knock out Joanna, and nobody was knocking out Joanna around that time. So let's not forget about that.
I thought about that. On the other hand, like Weili Zhang hits like a truck, though. I mean, look at her. Like, she physically working out.
Rose is accurate, though, man, and she has some pop in her punch, too, man.
She's like that. She's kind of like more of like a Conor McGregor,
precise.
Not like with the precision versus like Yang. Like, I think all of her shots hurt. Like, I mean, clearly, look at Joanna's head. I mean, Joanna's head was, I mean, that was scary to watch, man. Like, I didn't even think that was, bro, that looked like one of those, I don't know if you've ever seen like pictures of like crazy tumors, like people who have like crazy.
Oh, God, yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
Oh, it was scary to watch. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I hope she doesn't like die. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I don't think it's meant to swell up like that. Like,
imagine you dropped an elbow on that. Imagine you just hit it with an elbow and just cracked it open.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dude, that literally looks scary. And I'm like, oh my God, man. Like, I really felt like, I mean, Joanna, her will is I mean, it's kind of crazy to watch Rose knock out Joanna and then watch Joanna take all those shots from Weili and people say she won the fight. You know what I mean? Some people say Joanna won that fight. So
I thought she won it. I thought she won the fight. I thought Joanna won that fight.
So think about it. It's kind of
I had Joanna. Who'd you have winning that fight, Will?
Joanna, of course.
Yeah, you had her winning it too. Yeah, I thought she edged that fight.
What about damage though? I mean, if you look at damage, you know what I mean? Like the head.
I mean, if you're gonna criticize a fight, it's not going to be on damage. You know, it's like the GSP and Hendricks fight. You know, it's like
That's true.
like Hendricks. Yeah, Hendricks was winning. You know, almost all the rounds. I don't remember which round exactly.
I don't know about that. I got to cut you off, Will. I don't know. He wasn't winning all the rounds, but Hendricks was. To your point, you touch upon it, but I'm just going to give you a little help on that. In my opinion,
All right.
Hendricks was causing more damage, especially I think it was the first and the third, or first and second. No, first and third, I think. But GSP took over that fight. But you're right. As far as like damage, GSP's face got beat up, and he got wobbled a little bit that one time. He got dropped. But then GSP, in my opinion, took over that fight. But you, in my opinion, you let me know how you feel. But I think you got to take damage into consideration, amount of strikes, points. You take it all into consideration, everything. But what do you tell me? Will?
Yeah. You know, it's easy to like see who won and who lost. But as far as MMA fan is concerned, I know that MMA right now, and it's still going to be like that. It's going to be ruled like boxing. You know, it's who in comparison of boxing, you know, MMA probably wins who has more accuracy with his punches, the significant strikes with the takedowns and everything. A fight that comes to mind also which favor Romero over Whitaker in the second fight.
In the rematch, right? In the rematch?
Yeah, rematch. I think. Yeah.
The rematch. You know, I thought Romero won that fight, you know, fair and square. And just because he didn't gain the weight, also was a big factor on that. And yeah, I thought that's another. I mean, Romero dropped Whitaker like 2 times, I think.
Was it 3? Was it 2 or 3?
I don't remember 2 or 3 times, but he was almost
like that.
close to finish him. You know, he was almost close to finish him. And you know, and Romero is it's Cuban, you know, and I was pushing for Romero to win so bad, man, that I was bad for him, you know. Yeah, I was feeling bad for him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. You know what? I love Romero, but he's so unpredictable, man. Like it's so just so frustrating to watch sometimes. And then he even I heard recently he was calling for a rematch with Adesanya. I mean, man, like, yo, you better go.
We don't want to watch that. That ain't happening.
You better go on like a 3-fight knockout streak before you want to ask for a rematch with Adesanya. Because I mean, that was just terrible to watch. And I'm like, I get that, you could claim that Adesanya was running away, but I mean, Romero wasn't really engaging. Like he's like, bro, he was like, he's like my cat. He was like charging up for like a round just to like for 5 seconds of action, man.
Yeah, I was mad with both them.
People joking saying that he's still charging up to go 1 round right now. You know what I mean? He's charging up for like 3 months to go 1 round. You know what I mean? Like, bro, he's too conservative on his energy. Like I know how Woodley, like how he's kind of like Woodley, where Woodley's like doesn't want to use too much energy. But with Romero, I'm like, come on, man. Like you're literally doing nothing for 4 minutes just to like for 10 seconds of action. Like, come on, you can't fight like that. You can't win like that.
Well, let's talk about UFC 251, man. What else you guys want to talk about in regards to UFC 251? One of the biggest cards that we've ever had, in my opinion. It's up there with the best of them. In my opinion, you can argue this card is just as good as any. What fight are you guys looking forward to?
I got Masvidal by KO, man. I got Masvidal.
He's the best card besides the Tony Ferguson card with Gaethje. I think.
You like that card better, Will?
No, I mean, I don't know, because there are some cards that are
Let's
really
compare the cards real quick.
on paper, are big fights, but at the end of the day, when the fights happen, maybe are boring, like the one you said, Arsenic with Romero and Adesanya. And I don't know. We have to figure out this weekend.
That's true. That's a good way to look at
But
it
on
too.
paper,
Will, sure. You have to
but
see the
on
card play
paper,
out first. But I'll say this: on paper, I think they're both very close.
yeah,
You guys tell me which. I'm gonna post it up real quick. You guys comment below too. Which card do you guys like better? This weekend's card or the Ferguson Gaethje card, which was very stacked too. I'm gonna post it
this
up here
weekend,
real quick.
I like
this
this one
weekend,
way better. I like this
this
one way
week.
better.
There are three title fights,
This
three
weekend,
title fights in the prelims, only the prelims on UFC ESPN. It's top core. You got the Russian fighter.
mm-hmm.
Against Leon. I don't remember what's his name. There are a lot of fighters, that you can watch and just make an enjoyable evening. Taylor.
This was the Tony Ferguson fight, right? Which we had, a hell of a main event. The Dominic Cruz versus Cejudo fight, it ended early a little bit, but that was a good fight. That Francis Ngannou was just crazy. The Calvin Kattar fight was nuts. This was a stacked card too, man. Cerrone did beat Pettis. They robbed him. Oh, real quick. Speaking of Alexei Oleinik, man, Alexei Oleinik is fighting Derek Lewis, and I called for that fight. For those of you guys that remember, MMA Live Discussion episode 2, I had Alexei Oleinik on the show, and I said, I know who would be perfect for you next, Derek Lewis. And yeah, the UFC, I guess, was on the same page.
Yo, I love Oleinik, but I don't know. It's hard for me to see him beating Derek Lewis.
Oh, if he gets it to the ground, man.
Yeah, he has to get it to the. But I mean, you know how he kind of comes in without he just comes forward at you like a zombie sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know, man. If he takes a shot from Derek Lewis, I don't know. I mean, he better get him to the ground like ASAP. But I do think if he goes to the ground, I think he's gonna submit Derek Lewis pretty easily.
He can sub him, and Lewis has horrible issues with his cardio too. So if Oleinik can keep pushing the pace like he did in the last fight, and keep getting takedowns and working the submissions, I think he's going to be wearing on him. I don't know. But, I think Lewis has to get the knockout. And I know that you love – I know you like to do those hedging. If you want to hedge a bet, you hedge that one.
Yeah, that's what I was absolutely. Oleinik maybe by submission and Lewis by knockout. I mean, but Oleinik could technically win by decision too. But, again, I think that Lewis, when he gets you saw how fast Daniel Cormier, what he did to Lewis once it hit the ground. I mean, he easily – dismantle the guy when it hit the ground. I mean, and Oleinik is obviously, he's not as good as Daniel Cormier, but he's a very great submission guy. And yeah, but no, and going back to what you were saying about the two cards, I feel like, I don't know, for me, I love Masvidal because especially recently he's been bringing this level of excitement. You have no idea what he's gonna do, man. Like he might throw some wacky shit. And and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, obviously, Usman is the conservative guy, and, he doesn't make mistakes. I mean, Usman, it's hard to see Usman make a mistake, but it's also hard to see Masvidal not do something crazy. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to see either or. And I mean, and Colby was lighting up Usman in those earlier rounds, and Colby's, striking is, in my opinion, not even close to Masvidal's. But
yeah, no, I agree with that.
But on the other hand, Usman has that pathway to victory, the wrestling. Yep.
But
on the other hand, though, Masvidal has nasty clinch work. You know what I mean? If he's able to stuff an Usman takedown, or if they're even in the clinch, he might throw an elbow in the clinch and finish with a nice kick and really hurt Usman. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
It's possible. It's definitely possible. Here's just to compare the two cards, you guys, let's see. I'll zoom in a little bit too on it. But yeah, I definitely, just to touch upon that, I think that this card is the most stacked card we had in some time. Like Will, like you were saying, Will, 3 title fights, right? Volkanovski, Holloway, Usman Masvidal, Jan Aldo, and then look at these other fights. Paige Van Zandt, everyone's looking forward to that fight too against Ribas. Andrade versus Thug Rose Namajunas, that's a stacked fight. And even look at these prelim fights. Look at these prelim fights.
Even the prelims, yeah. I was going to tell you about the Zaleski and Salikov fight.
Oh, that's a beautiful fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're a no cut artist, and I don't know. I put some money. I'm starting to put some money on the prelims first, and not to get combined or parlays with
Okay.
the main events.
Who do
Yeah,
you like
that's
in
a
that
huge.
fight? Who do you like, Will?
Yeah,
Who do you like in
uh,
that fight between Santos and Muslim Salikov?
Salikov. I like Salikov. I
Yep.
like Salikov. I
Hey, you
like
guys,
Salikov.
we got Chris Leben, man, the legend. He's here. So you guys, we're gonna have an interview with Leben, and then we'll talk after he's out. All right, guys.
All right. See
Make
you.
sure
Okay,
everybody
brother.
staying tuned as well. All right.
Thank you.
What's up, Chris? Can you
Hello?
hear me, Chris? Can you hear me,
I don't
brother?
hear you.
Let's see.
Let me try to hear. Hello?
That might be a little bit better. How about now, Chris? Can
I
you hear
got
me?
no volume.
No
I try to
volume?
call.
Let's
I'll try to
see.
call back. 1 second.
All right, try it again. Here. We got Chris Leben, man, the legend here. He says he couldn't hear us, so let's see how this goes. Definitely want to get him in here, man. It's a true pleasure to talk with Chris Leben, man.
Hello?
Hey, Chris, any better?
Yeah, there I can hear you now.
All right, awesome, man, awesome. How you doing, Chris?
Pretty good. Hey, I tried to use the headphones for you.
It's all right. Either way, you know what? It sounds good regardless. It sounds good.
Okay.
So,
Okay, good.
so what were you up to today, Chris? What's going on in the MMA world, man? How's life treating you?
Man, just freaking busy right now. The gym's open back up, so kind of hit my private lessons in the morning. Then I trained some jujitsu. Came home, watched my kid for a little bit, went back to the gym, taught for a few more hours. So, pretty basic Thursday. Nothing too
That's
crazy.
awesome, man.
A lot of training and teaching, and I'm tired.
Yeah, man. Well, we appreciate you joining us, and for all the newbies that have been watching the fight game from the get-go, man, Chris Leben is an absolute legend in the game, and I just want to run off real quick. Some of the accolades that Chris Leben brings to the table. Chris Leben was part of Tough One, the season one, the first Ultimate Fighter season that ever happened. He was a semifinalist in the show, 4-time knockout of the night winner, 4-time. 2-time fight of the night participant, former WEC middleweight champion of the world. You guys know I'm big on WEC. That's one of my favorite organizations from the get-go. Chris Leben fought in the first 5-round fight that was not a title bout that ever happened in the UFC. And Chris Leben has finished 77% of his wins in his professional career. So this guy is an absolute legend. And if you guys aren't familiar with Chris Leben, if you're new to the game, you got to watch all his fights because they're all epic. But I know a lot of you guys are familiar with Chris Leben.
Thank you.
But yeah, man. And it's awesome having you here, man. It's awesome having you here.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
So yeah, man, like I said, you were on the Ultimate Fighter season 1. And then, from there, obviously your career was amazing. Some of the most entertaining fights that I've ever seen. What was it like, stepping in there with a guy like Wanderlei Silva? What was it like, looking across the cage from a guy like Wanderlei Silva?
Well, Wanderlei Silva was my hero before I was in the UFC. Back in the day when I had just started at Team Quest, and I was training with Randy Couture and Matt Lindland. I used to catch the bus across town. There was an old Japanese toy store, and he used to rent me the.
We lost you there for a second, Chris. You're good now.
Sorry about that.
All right, you're good. No
He used
problem.
to rent me the Pride videos, that were dubbed from Japan, and
Yeah.
so in the beginning of my career, I tried to emulate Wanderlei. He was really a hero of mine. So ultimately, I wanted that fight. I had asked Dana White for that fight, and he was like, "No, you're not fighting Vanderlei, da da da. He's too good for you, blah blah blah." And then ultimately Vanderlei was supposed to fight Okami, or wait, God, I forget all the guys I fought now.
Oh, Sexyama? Akiyama.
Yeah, Akiyama. There we go.
Which was one of the most epic fights of all time when you finished him with that triangle, man. I think it was in the third round. I was going nuts in that fight when I was watching you fight, man.
And if anybody's wondering why I can't remember his name, just watch the fight.
Yeah.
So I ended up fighting a guy named Aaron Simpson 2 weeks prior, and then they called me last minute when Vanderlei pulled out to fight Akiyama. Pretty sure thinking I would lose that fight, thinking that would be good. I was coming off a win. So for Akiyama to beat me, that would be a good way to bring him into the UFC and kind of propel his stardom before his fight with Vanderlei. But ultimately, it didn't work out for him. I ended up getting that triangle. And so then, I really started lobbying for the Vanderlei fight. Hey, he was supposed to fight Vanderlei. Now it's my turn. So ultimately, I ended up getting that fight. And you know what? It was one of the few fights I really expected to lose going into it.
Wow.
It's funny how that works. Fear is a pretty motivating thing. So my preparation for Vanderlei was more on point than probably any other fight. I did all my work. It's scary the way that guy finishes people. So you want to be trained when you get in there. And I think ultimately it worked out in my favor.
Well, you know what? It was scary the way that you finished him. You know what I mean? The way that you finished him and the way that you finished a lot of your opponents was scary. One fight that was one of my favorite fights of all time, Terry Martin. You remember that Terry Martin fight where he tags you with a couple shots and he's looking at you and he's like, "What's up? What's up? Bring it." And he's coming at you and you were just like a zombie, man. You ate those punches like you always do. You ate him and then just touched him and put him out. How was it taking him out in that moment?
What's that?
How was it like in that moment when you took him out? Like what was that feeling like, man, when you dropped him?
When I watched the video, I looked pretty pumped up, but honestly, like I don't really remember too much because at that point in the fight, I was already on autopilot. A couple of those fights, I remember the Akiyama fight. After the fight was over, walking backstage, I turned to my coach and I said, "What was that, about halfway through the second round?" And he's like, "No, man, there was 10 seconds left in the third."
Man.
But at that point, you're just on try to stay alive mode. And so definitely with that Terry Martin fight, that was definitely the case.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. That was awesome. And nowadays, let's see, a little bit of volume. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you breaking up just a touch, but
yeah. I hear a little bit of. I think it's better now. Hopefully, a little bit of. Let me see something. Okay. How about now? All right, I'm going to mute you, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Then I'll unmute you because I think it's a little bit of the background. But I wanted you to touch upon, man, because you've been doing a lot of things, man. Well, first off, you never really retired technically, right, from the MMA game because you're still, as far as bare knuckle fighting goes, you're still taking dudes out, right, on the bare knuckle fighting scene. So can we expect you to be in another bare knuckle fight moving forward, or what?
No. I retired from bare knuckle just a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Ultimately, my UFC career didn't really finish the way that I wanted it to. So it was pretty cool to be able to come back to combat sports. I had to go through a lot. I was battling with a lot, in and out of the cage for several years. My story's pretty well out there. A lot of people know I battled with drugs and alcohol for a long time. That being said, I didn't finish my UFC career in the manner that I would have liked. And, I ultimately tried to come back once I got sober and fight for Bellator. But they did the pre-fight medicals and I failed. They told me I had a failing heart, and they told me actually I needed a new heart. So, kind of fast version of the story. Changed my life around completely, got sober, changed my diet, changed who I hung out with, changed where I live, and focused on nothing but living healthy and righteously. And ultimately my heart continued to get better and better, till eventually they said, you don't need a new heart, you just need a pacemaker. Then they said, you know what, you don't even need one of those. Until we got to the point where I asked my cardiologist, they said, well, is my heart good enough for you to let me fight? And she said, it's a miracle. I don't know how, but it is.
Oh, wow.
So that's about the time I got a call from Dave Feldman and BKFC. And, they, so I was like, why not? I'm healthy. I'm beating up the kids better than I ever have. My head is clearer. I'm more focused than ever, So, I came back. I had 3 fights in the bare knuckle. 2 of them were first round knockouts. And the third one was a 5-round war. I ended up getting, I had 36 stitches in my face.
Against Dakota Cochran, correct?
Yeah. They had to stitch my nose back on. But the bottom line is I finished all 5 rounds, where my UFC career did not end in that manner. Ultimately I didn't answer the bill for the third on my last fight, which was a hard pill to swallow for a guy that is known for laying it all on the line, so that was a pretty crushing blow. So to come back and have the 2 first round knockouts and then go fight a war like that, I feel like more or less I achieved what I wanted to achieve. And now, I was going to fight another bare knuckle, but it got postponed. And then I had another one slated. I was a couple weeks out, and then the corona hit.
Yeah.
And right now, one of my main focuses is in refereeing. I want to referee the UFC. I want to referee Bellator. I want to referee LFA. I want to referee the MMA shows as a professional. Right now, for the last 3 years, I've been working for CAMO, which is a California amateur martial arts organization, doing all the different amateur shows around the state. But I want to move up. And, if you're actively competing, that's a conflict of interest. So, something had to give. So I said, you know what? I'm not really fighting for the money. The money's good. It's nice, but I don't need it. I'm fighting for myself. And, ultimately I want to change that my career. I want to continue repping and being part of the sport for the next 30 years. So the time is now to really kind of make that switch and go for it.
Nice. And let me just hold on 1 second, Chris. And when you started the refereeing thing, I heard that you went to the school of Herb Dean, right? So you learned from one of the best referees in the game, in Herb, right?
That's correct. Yeah. In order to be a referee in California and most states now, you need to pass one of 2 classes. It's either Herb Dean's or Big John's.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them are tough as shit. Both of them are extremely selective about who they pass. I think Big John will pass a maximum of 2 people, regardless of how many people are in his class. And I'm pretty certain that out of all the people that were in my class, I was the only one to actually pass.
Oh, wow.
So you'll get a certification of completion, but you won't technically pass the class. It's an extremely demanding. You got to know mixed martial arts inside and out. You got to know every position on the ground. You got to know, all the proper procedures, everything. And I couldn't believe how difficult the course was, but ultimately I passed. And I've been repping for a few years, like I said now, and I love it, man. I had no idea it was going to be so challenging. It's so easy. I thought, hey, I've been through a bunch. I've fought myself. I know what a rep does. Referees just do not get the credit that they deserve, man, because, obviously fighter safety is the most important thing. Obviously, you want to give every fighter every chance possible, and you're in there making those split-second decisions, and it seems like every show where it's like, dude, they got like tenth of a second to make, you know, almost life or death decisions, you know.
Well, that's really big coming from you, man. You know, someone that's been in there. You know, you've been on both sides. You know what I mean, of the fence. You've been inside the cage fighting, and then being in the cage refereeing. That's really big coming from you, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, man. And you did referee at the was it the Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz, the most recent one, right? You were in that event.
I was.
Yeah.
That was the Golden Boy Promotions, you
Yeah.
know, that put that on, and it was a pro-am show. So I was able to referee one of the California amateur state title fights. Referee
Nice.
a couple of those, and then they actually let me stay around and help CSAC. You know, once the amateur portion of the card was done and the pro portion came into play, I got to hang out and inspect fighters as they went in the cage and do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, man. That's good stuff. Well, you know what? It all brings us to the top of the pyramid. We're getting to the plateau. And now Chris Leben is one of the biggest actors, huh? In Hollywood these days, huh? I see that you're working on some of these shows, Kingdom. I see you did some work on the Weekend Shift as well. What's it like, man, acting? How is it acting for Chris Leben?
You know, actually, you know, I haven't done any in a while. I'll tell you what, though, the money is good. It's a lot better than getting punched in the face, you know. I think Kingdom just played on Netflix here the last week or so ago, you know. And that show, you know, I had a small speaking role in 2 episodes, and you know, it's great because you know you continue to get every time somebody else, you know, Netflix or somebody picks it up, I get another check, you know. So
Nice.
you know, I love to do more of that, man. It's I enjoy it.
I could tell you this much. As soon as I posted today that I was going to be having you on the show, you know, I got some of my friends that are into fights. You know, some of them are not as much into fights like some of us here. But a buddy of mine, he watches the fights. He may be watching, but he's more new, you know, new age, and he didn't so much know you from fighting. He shoots me a message, and he's like, "Bro, I know who that dude is. I'm watching this show. I guess it was the Kingdom show." And he's like, "I know him from this show, bro. I just saw him on an episode." So, I mean, there's literally people I'm getting messages from that I have an MMA show, and he knows you from the TV series. So it's crazy, man.
That's pretty funny, yeah.
You know, crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess you were familiar with having the camera in front of your face from back in the day, right? The Ultimate Fighter season 1. I mean, you had a camera in your face for a while, so I guess you got some experience with that.
Yeah, you know, it takes for some people it takes a little getting used to. Me, it doesn't bother me. You know, I mean, obviously, if you watch the first season of The Ultimate Fighter, I certainly didn't seem to think that there was a camera around. Hindsight's 2020, though. Now that I'm older, you know, I'm a little more conscious that hey, that thing is filming you right now. You know, I wasn't thinking about that quite so much in that first season of The Ultimate Fighter, and it definitely shows in some of the episodes.
I'll say this much though, man. Whatever happened back then, you know, I got some stories. Some of them may be on camera as well. Some of them maybe they're not. But people that know me, you know, I've been there and I have done some things that people are like they still remember. But at the end of the day, it's all growing experiences, right? It's about learning, maturing. So I think that a lot of people can relate to me on this when they say, you know, you were my favorite fighter on that show. And you were one of my favorite fighters of all time, even after the show, just fighting in the octagon. You were always true to yourself. You know what I mean? And it's been a real pleasure for us to watch you, man, participate inside the octagon and on the show and all that. So
thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I hope you know, a lot of people hit me up and they ask me about the show like it was yesterday, and I think you just touched on it exactly. You know, ultimately, I wouldn't change anything because everything that's happened has allowed me to grow and to end up where I'm at today. You know, but you know, very different person back then. And if it wasn't for things like that show, you know, who knows where I'd be now.
Yeah, man. I hear you on that. You know, and another thing too, as soon as people heard that I was bringing you on the show, I got multiple messages. First off, Yeah, and I never get messages like this. I've had some big names in the show, but when they heard you were coming on the show, people are like, that's awesome. Best show yet. You know, everyone's a big Chris Leben fan. And then a couple people, I got 2 messages from people that said that they've seen you and like San Diego with your family and whatnot. And everybody had nothing but amazing things to say. They said he's a great guy. Just, you know, he carries himself like a great guy. I guess you're always friendly to people that you bump into and whatnot. So the fans, you know, they're big fans of you.
Well, thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. You know, I try. Anytime somebody recognizes me or I run into somebody on the street, I always try to stop and say hi, you know, which, you know, I feel like shit, that's the least we can do. You know, I've been so blessed to have this job, to get out and go perform on national TV for everybody and make my money doing what I love for a living, you know, and hopefully inspire some people along the way. So absolutely, I always try to reach out to my fans, and I would even go as far as say I think that's one of the special things about combat sports. You know, I think athletes are a little more obtainable, we're a little more reachable. You know, the attitude, generally speaking, among people that are in the UFC or have been in the UFC is one of gratitude when it comes to the fans. And I don't know if it's the martial arts background or what exactly it is, but that's something that I feel like is a little bit individual to mixed martial arts that you don't see in other sports.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that 100%. We've talked about that on the show a few times that, you know, we're blessed as being like major fight fans that we're able to, you know, to talk with you guys, you know, rub shoulders with you guys as much as we do. I'm also a major baseball fan, a major football fan, NFL fan. And, you know, as far as bumping into those guys or ever talking to them or, you know, like today, you know, I'll give you a perfect example. I reached out to Chris, the Crippler Leben through Instagram. You know, we talked for about a week or so ago, but I reached out to you again today. And, you know, you're responding back to me. I mean, you're, you know what I mean? One of my true heroes, you know, in the sport that I've grew up watching. I'm talking with you. And the next thing you know, I got you on my show over here. And I'm sure a lot of the fans that are listening can relate to that as well, you know. And it really is amazing. And I agree with you on that point a lot. And, well, you know what? I guess I won't keep you too long. I would like to give you a chance, man, to give us some parting words, anything you want to let your fans know. And before I give you that chance to say that, I want to thank you again for coming on and just for all the amazing experiences that I had in high school, throughout college, man. Just, you know, for me, looking forward to the weekend to watch a Chris Leben fight and where you delivered time and time again. Like I said, finishing 77% of your victories, always making it a very entertaining fight. I thank you for that. And, you know, maybe some parting words to the fans.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, thanks for having me. And you know, Instagram, if anybody wants to get in touch with me, I think my handle is Chris Leben MMA. You can reach out to me through there. I've got the Facebook and Twitter, the other ones, but Instagram's probably the easiest for me. That being said, you know, if you're on vacation, you're in San Diego, you want to get a private lesson in or take one of my classes, just hit me up, man. Send a message. You know, thank you for all we can.
That's awesome. That would be an amazing thing to do, man. If I'm ever out that way, I'm definitely going to be hitting you up, Chris, man. That's a once in a lifetime, man. Imagine getting a lesson from Chris Leben. So you guys take him up on that when you're out there. And thank you so much, Chris, man, again, for popping in, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Chris. Thank you. That was awesome, man. Chris, the Crippler Leben. Sorry, guys. I know the audio was a little messed up there, but you know what an interview, man. That probably took the cake, man. As far as I'm concerned, over here, I'm a big Chris Leben fan. That was pretty cool, man. Chatting it up with him. And just like everybody said, right? Everybody called it. Everybody said that Chris Leben, you know, he's an amazing guy. He's a good guy. And you guys heard it there, right? In the interview, you could tell he's a genuinely good guy. And he's a warrior. He's an absolute warrior. This guy has been in some of the most entertaining fights, you know, that we've ever seen. So, yeah, man, sorry about the audio, though. I know the audio was a little off. But for some reason, with certain people on their phones, I guess it does do that sometimes. I'm not sure exactly why. I try to get them to get the headphones on, but I think that's probably what it was. But it's all good, man. Absolute legend in the game. And if you guys are in California, that's awesome, man. Leben said, reach out to him. And he'll give you some private lessons, whatnot. And I'm sure he's reasonable on the price and all. So that was awesome, man. The one is upset. Look at him. You didn't ask him my question, bro. I missed it. The one. I missed it. Go pucker up your butt cheeks, bro. Go tuck yourself in. You gotta relax, bro. You gotta realize I'm over here talking to one of the greats. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to see all these questions. What was your question? I'm gonna shoot him a DM right now for you. I'll make it up to you, brother. Where is it? Ask him about Diego Sanchez. That was your question? This was the question? Ask him about Diego Sanchez, coach, bro. All right, take it back. I'm not asking him that question. I'm not reaching out to him. That was that wasn't even a good question. I thought it was going to be like an epic question. I thought I was going to be like, damn, I missed asking the one question. I slipped up. Your question was horrible, brother. Go tuck yourself in, man. Who is this guy? The one? Who the fuck? Who is that guy? I'm gonna drop the link. That includes the one. You want to come on? Here, I'll give you the link. Come on the show, brother. Come tell us how upset you are that I didn't talk about your comment. There's the link. Come hop in, brother. Come hop in. Come on. Come talk with the teller, man. The #1 MMA capper in the game. I got 2 bets locked in for this upcoming weekend. I'm going to be finalizing a third play either by tonight or tomorrow. Like I told you, boys, I'm keeping track of the line right now, and I like the way it's moving. So stay tuned. I will definitely post that. I'll have 3 plays locked in. That's what it's looking like. We got 30 people still here, man. Big shout out to all you guys and everyone that's watching this video even after the fact. This weekend's going to be going down, man. UFC 251, the Fight Companion will be going down. So, I look forward to having all you guys pop in. And, if you guys want to have a drink, we could pour up a shot. We could do a little smoke. We can watch the fights, whatever you guys want, man. It's going to be an epic night. We're going to bring Arson.
Yo, what's up? I was thinking about, great interview, by the way. But, Leben is an awesome dude. Like, most of these MMA guys, man, they're just great people. Like, they're just awesome dudes, really humble guys, even though they've had more successes than, most people have in their life. And, these guys are like the most humble dudes. And
hold on, real quick. Big Scary, whoever's Big Scary. I saw you come in and then you got scared and you left. Big Scary, come in. We saw you pop in the back room. Come join the show. Here, the one. Hold on, I'll post it. The one's gonna come on, Ars. I want to talk to the one. I feel bad. I didn't ask his question, but I'm gonna post it for you. Click it again, brother. I gotta bring you in. Give it a second. Click the link again. I'll bring you in. Click the link and it'll pop you right in. Let's hear from the one. He's really upset, Ars. He really wanted to hear his question be asked. And you know what his question was, Ars? Let me read it for you one more time.
I heard it. I heard what you said. Diego Sanchez's coch, right?
This was his question. It was kind of like it wasn't really a complete sentence.
Yeah.
Ask him about Diego Sanchez, coach, bro.
Yeah, he's like the spiritual guy, man. You could. He's gonna.
Oh, that's what you were saying. Ask him about Diego Sanchez, coach.
Yeah, you remember he's like this.
What did you think about Diego Sanchez's coach?
Yeah.
What would be the relevance? All right, let's get him on. The one, hop in, brother. I'm gonna post it one more time for you, man. Come on, you had the name Big Scary, and it looks like you're scared. Hop up in. Damn, and we got Anderson the Spider Silva in the chat as well. You should have asked the question to Leben. That would have been a good one. Leben and you been through some wars. Oh, the one scared. He's scared to come on. Look, do you have the link for the steroids you take? Oh, come on. That's the best you can come up with. Steroids. I've never touched any type of supplementation in my life. I'm completely against it. I've had a couple of friends that have taken some small stuff. What was one they used to take? And I used to make fun of them. I used to say it's disgusting, people that take steroids.
Anavar is like the
Anavar.
Anavar is a popular one because you know why? It has the least side effects.
Yes.
And yeah, like you can really pull off the fake natty status with Anavar.
That's one of my boys took, the Anavar. He used to try to tell me, it's not like I'm really taking anything, bro. It's so mild. I'm like, bro, you take anything, that's disgusting. And as soon as you stop taking it, you're going to go right back to how you were. And he was taking it, and he was never even working out. For me, bro, I finally got my weights in, bro. So I'm getting my pump, man. I love it, man. Every day on my back, I'm getting my shoulders, my traps in. I got the dumbbells. We were talking about that, ours too, man. I love hitting the weights up, man. But I got to give a big shout out to my boy Dylan again, though, real quick. My boy Dylan Flanagan, great show. Looking forward to the Fight Companion, man. I love this guy, Dylan, man. Dylan, you're my boy, man. I'm telling you, I'm coming out over there towards Europe, man. We're going to watch some fights. I regularly come to Europe when things are back to normal. So I've been all throughout Switzerland, Italy, Greece. I've been to England, London. So I'm going to come meet you out. I'm coming to Ireland. Ireland's my next trip that I'm planning. So I'm going to meet up with you, Dylan. We're going to go catch some fights, man.
Yeah, what's it called? Now that a lot of chicks also, some chicks take Anavar too because it has so little side effects that it's it's really popular among women too. You know, like let's say if you're like a CrossFit competitor or one of those people, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, but yo, you know what Will was talking about before about Muslim Salikov. What do you think about Muslim Salikov by knockout?
I like him to stop to possibly get a stoppage in that fight, but the only thing is, I feel like Dos Santos is an excellent fighter too. We saw Dos Santos get finished by the Asian fighter Jinglang Li or Jinglang the Leech, a fighter that I think has always been very much overrated. I'm not really that high on him. Yeah, and he finished Dos Santos, but Dos Santos is a guy when he's on. He's nasty. I've seen him go out there and finish some spectacular fights. Spectacular fighter. Sean Strickland hit him with the nasty spinning heel kick. His jiu-jitsu is good. He has good fighter IQ. We saw him in that fight against Curtis Millender where people were all high on that guy Curtis, and he just went down there, took him down, submitted him. But I do think that Muslim can knock him out. We saw that overhand right that he just hit Nordin Taleb with. He slapped his ass. So, but I got Muslim to win that fight, possibly by knockout.
What do you think about that style? Because I was reading about Muslim that he's like an expert in Sanchu Sanda. It's like some like Asian martial art. And yeah. You remember that chick? Remember the chick who got KO'd by Megan Anderson, the girl with the nice booty? What's her name? Recently, the redheaded girl. Oh my God, bro! Everyone was talking about
Aspen Ladd.
No. She was like a brand new 145er. The last girl that Megan Anderson KO'd, Norma Dumont. Remember Norma Dumont?
Yeah. That was our first fight in the UFC.
Yeah, so she was like an expert in Sanchu Sanda, the same stuff that like this guy Muslim Salikov is like an expert in. And
they call him the King of Kung Fu. That's his nickname, the King of Kung Fu.
Yeah. So I wonder if that Sanda stuff, is it legit or is it just like some kind of like traditional martial arts that's not legit? I mean, I don't know.
I think it can help you. I think it can make you a better fighter, the art of that and whatnot. But if you're putting too much time into that, just specifically, you're not focusing on other more realistic type of, you have to like kind of blend other styles together. But it's funny you say that though, because when I saw Muslim, when I saw that whole thing that you're talking about, I was doing a lot of research when he first came into the UFC, and I'm like, oh, this guy's going to be a complete joke. But he really never was a complete joke. He's really been a solid fighter from the get-go. Even in some of his losses, you could tell he's a very skilled striker. I think he won his UFC debut. I got to pull it up. I forget, but I think he won his UFC debut. And then let's see real quick. But the thing is, his striking is legit regardless, no matter how you spin it. 16-2, and he's taking out some guys. Okay. So he had his UFC debut against Alex Garcia. He lost his UFC debut. He lost that fight, and then after that went on a 3-fight win streak. Took out Ricky Rainey. Ricky Rainey is that he's a crafty veteran that's been around the way for some time. I think he lost to Sean O'Malley. That a little fight. Nordin Taleb, he knocked him out, and then he went in there and took out Loreno Staropoli, the Argentinian fighter who's young, who's very explosive, and he's a good fighter. That kid. So those are 3 solid wins.
Tower, you said that Sean O'Malley took him out?
Sean O'Malley took out one of their mutual opponents. It was
Wait, but isn't Sean O'Malley at like one? Are we talking about?
What am I talking about? Excuse me. Then hold on. You're right. Hold on. Let me pull that up real quick.
Because because Salikov is 170 and Sean O'Malley's 135.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of. Okay, I'll tell you. I'm sorry. All right, so Ricky Rainey. I'm getting two guys confused. I'm going to tell you the two guys I'm getting confused real quick. And you guys tell me that it's not an honest mistake, right? Ricky Rainey, he fought Tim Means. Tim Means, he lost that fight to Tim Means. That was his last UFC fight. And that fight, Tim Means styled on him with the striking. So now the guy that I'm thinking of that reminds me of Ricky Rainey, I'm going to pull it up for you right now. His name is on the tip of my tongue. You guys are going to know what I'm talking about right away. It was his second fight in the UFC, I believe. 1 second. I'm going to get to you right now. It was Terrion Ware. Terrion Ware and Ricky Rainey are very similar guys. They're journeymen. They're journeymen that finally made it to the UFC after being around the block for a long period of time, and they finally made it to the UFC, and they did decent, but they pretty much lost, when they made it there. But yeah, so I'm sorry about that. That was just, Ars, when you're spitting off all this MMA knowledge off the top of your brain, bro, I'm telling you, some of it gets mixed up, man. But a lot of this stuff I come off, it's all off the dome, bro. All off just being in front of the TV.
No, I legitimately got confused because I thought you were talking about maybe there's another Sean O'Malley at 170.
I mixed that up. If you look at the two fighters, you'll see why I mixed them up. But they look very similar, and if you look at their resumes and their records, they have very similar resumes. They went through very similar things. Terrion Ware and the other guy too, his name slipped my mind, but they worked their way into the UFC after being around the block for a while, and they lost the big fights. They lost to Tim Means, the striker, and they lost to O'Malley, the striker.
Yo, what is it called? You saw that guy Amit B? He put that Rebus is minus 1,001 now, so you could have gotten her at minus 600 to my memory, right? I think when I was looking at it a week or two ago, she was minus 600, if I'm not mistaken. Now she's minus 1,000. Yeah. That's insane. That's like boxing. That's like boxing odds already.
I know, it's ridiculous. I think the line's off. I think Rebouts is going to whoop her up, but that's ridiculous. It's a women's mixed martial arts bout. You never know what could happen in there. Paige Van Zandt, like I said, training with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend's a stud fighter, a top of the line fighter, and I think that Van Zandt's going to get whooped up. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I think she's going to get beat up pretty bad. But you never know. I'm not touching that at minus 1,000, minus 900, minus 800.
What the hell are you going to win? You're going to have to in order to get flat odds on that, you probably need a quadruple parlay. Like if you had like three, you'd have to do, let's say, all of the fights for minus 1,000. I think you'd have to do like 3 or 4. I think you need 4 to get flat odds on that. Like just
Sounds
to get,
right.
Which is ridiculous. Think about that. Imagine you're watching 4 fights. You know what I mean? Like you're like, okay, this person has to win. Okay, this person has to. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, there's no real money there. And again, I mean, I don't know. I might be rooting for Paige in that fight, so stay tuned, and I'll be rooting for her. Not that stay tuned and see if I have money on her. I'm not saying that, but just I'm going to be rooting for her. So
I mean, it seems like since a lot of money is coming in on Rebus. Well, actually, I don't know. Like, I wonder I wonder if the sportsbook would take a hit if Van Zandt won. You know what I mean?
Usually, they try to balance the books, though.
Yeah, they probably That's why they. But I was reading that like sometimes books do like have a fighter to win, so they'll be unbalanced in
if they feel confident
in a certain fighter's favor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting, man. Like I always find it interesting these sports books. You know what's cool too? I didn't know this, but I was reading about sports books. Is that some of them like they will analyze how you bet, and if you're a consistent, long-term, profitable bettor, they like let's say like obviously you've been doing this a long time, you know what you're doing. So let's say when you put a bet in, they may raise the lines even if you put a small bet on. You know what I'm trying to say? Because they know that your opinion matters more than let's say some guy who's just a casual and they're throwing some money on. So like let's say maybe you only put $1,000 on a fight, but all of a sudden they'll change the line because they're like, oh, this guy, the teller, he's consistently profitable.
Yeah.
This person's gonna win, so let's raise the line. You know what I'm trying to say? So
I wouldn't doubt any of that. Yeah, no, they're doing some stuff behind the scenes. I've seen some shady stuff like that. I believe it.
Yeah. So I mean, so they really know, and like they have a history of all your bets. So let's say like if you suck as a bettor. You know what I mean? Like maybe they'll even like make the line more attractive. You know, let's say it's someone who's like a terrible bettor, they bet on someone, and all of a sudden, you know, they'll make the, you know, they'll improve the line even more. They're like, oh, okay, we need to get more money on the we need to bet against this guy. You know, like Brendan Schaub, man, I love the guy, but bro, every time he makes a prediction.
Oh yeah, forget it. He's the worst. Okay. Well, martial arts fan says Ribas, I need to watch her fight against Marcos, but I think she might keep it on the feet. I think who did she just fight? She just fought Marcos, right? Wasn't that the last fight? No.
Wasn't Marcos a favorite or something? Or no? And then Ribas.
No, let me see. I'm gonna pull that up real quick because I'm trying to remember too.
No, I'm mixing up Marcos with someone else. I'm mixing up Marcos with the girl who had a lot of hype behind her and she lost. I forgot what her name was. The one who knocked out.
Yo, it was Randa Marcos. That's what I thought. No. But they're probably thinking Mackenzie Dern, but she took Mackenzie Dern out. That was in Tampa. I was there for that fight. I saw that fight live. Randa Marcos was the last fight. That was the fight where she just destroyed Randa. She went out there and just beat her up. She really did. She was a big favorite in that fight. If I remember correctly, she was like a minus 300, 400, and she beat Randa up. And Randa Marcos, in my opinion, is more of a threat than Paige Van Zandt at this point. You want to talk about a solid fight? I would love to see Paige Van Zandt versus Randa Marcos. Randa Marcos has a wrestling background. She's tough. We saw her box with Claudia Gadelha. She was throwing hands with her. She's a tough chick. And Ribas just beat the crap out of her. She really beat the crap out of her. That was a girl fight. When you saw it, you're like, wow, like, you know, you don't typically see girls dominate the way that she did. And that's the reason why, in my opinion, you usually stay away from girl fights. You know, not all of them, some of them, though. When you have a high line like that, this fight might play out closer than you think. But then again, I'm talking about how Ribas fought Marcos, and she was one of the few girls that made it not look close. So maybe you expect her to do that same thing, and that's what a lot of people are expecting. I think, you know, obviously the line shows it. People are expecting her to go out there and just dominate Paige the same way she did Randa. I think Paige might be a little bit more game. I don't know. Maybe not, though. I don't know. I bounce it back and forth. I kind of think Randa's tougher than Paige, but I think Paige might be a little bit more skilled. It's really hard to say. But either way, I think we all know which way that fight's going, right? Ribas probably gets an early finish maybe, or just bloodies her up and wins the decision.
I feel like the only fight that like I would touch at minus 900 odds would be like if Francis Ngannou fought Stefan Struve. Like that's the only one that I would put like money on minus 900. Like if
who fought?
Like let's say Ngannou if he fought Stefan Struve. Like then I would.
Yeah. I would take that minus 900 all day.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the only fight that I would take at minus 900.
Yo,
like,
ours, we're flying out to Vegas. We're splitting it half and half, bro. We're going 100K, 50K each, bro. And we're gonna be on the UFC show at the bottom. The Teller and Arseny throw 100K.
Oh, I would put him by knockout too. I would put Francis by knockout.
I would definitely prop bet that. The prop bet would be the same line as the win. It would be the same. They wouldn't even.
It would be like minus 800 or minus 850.
No, the regular win. I mean, I know that doesn't make any sense, but still, the regular just win would be a lower line than the knockout. Which obviously it wouldn't matter, but they still would do it.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Man.
But like minus. Yeah,
you're going to be joining us for the Fight Companion.
100%, man. This is going to be like the fight card of the year, right? I mean, I can't think of a better. I can't think of a better fight card that even can be made this year.
No, this is it. This is it, man. So give us some parting words, bro, and we're going to see you Saturday. I'm going to close the show out after that, but let us know what fight you're most looking forward to or whatever, anything you're thinking of.
Yeah, no, dude. I can't wait to see. You know, every fight is awesome, but I can't see if Street Jesus is going to come through, man. Is Street Jesus going to take out Usman, or is Usman going to hump him to death?
Yeah, I know. All right, that's the fight, man. Wait, we'll all be hanging out right here. We'll all be hanging out right here.
For sure.
All right, man. Ars.
Bro.
All right, brother. I'll see you Saturday night.
Yeah, sounds good. Peace.
All right, brother. Arseny, man. Always coming through, man. Knowing his stuff. It's always a pleasure to have Ars on the show. Thoughts on the Schmo, says Curtis Jackson. I didn't even know 50 Cent was a big MMA fan. What's up, 50? Thoughts on the Schmo. I feel like I'm basically going to take the Schmo spot in the next 2 years, I would say, within the next 2 years. So the Schmo, I think he's a little bit corny. It's a little bit tough for me to watch him, to be honest. I like that he brings a different aspect in regards to the fight game media. He's a little different and whatnot. I do feel like he's a little corny though. It's not really my style that much, and I feel like I could do his job 10 times over, 10 times better than he could do. I really do believe that. I think I know more about the fights than him. I think I'm more of an entertaining fella. You guys tell me what you think. I think the fortune teller is a more entertaining guy than the Schmo. I think I'm more of a real guy. I think that Schmo is kind of corny. He goes in there and he like made up this little gimmick. At least I am exactly what I am. You guys know what I am. I'm the teller, man. I like to bet on fights. I'm good at betting on fights. I tell you guys my fight stories. When I interview these guys, I give them the real stories. You guys can tell that I'm a real guy. I don't got to sit there and say this Schmo, this and that. So that's my thoughts on the Schmo. But, and I'm not trying to throw too much shade at him because I do respect what he's doing at the same time. So that's how I feel about that too. I respect what he's doing. I respect the fact that he got to the point where he's at right now. I think that you don't sleep on what he did to get there. That guy made the right decisions. He put himself in the right spots. I think he married this Asian chick. I forgot her name. I slip in my mind right now. She's into the sports media and whatnot too. So I think she kind of groomed him. She kind of helped him get to the spot that he's at right now. But nevertheless, he's still in that spot. So shout out to the Schmo. But his interviews would be nothing like the teller's interviews. Imagine the teller's interviews compared to the Schmo's interviews. Imagine if the teller's out there, bro, giving a real interview. Think about all those nerdy journalists that are out there with those same corny questions, right? And that's what's going to happen. Once you guys see me get my credentials, once this pandemic starts to simmer down and over the next couple of years, I'm building the foundation right now. You're going to see me out there doing interviews at all these major events in Las Vegas and all over the U.S., maybe even outside the U.S. We'll see if I want to do that too. And I'm going to get my credentials, and you're going to get some of the most realist interviews, the most real interviews, the most real questions from the teller. So, that's how I feel, man, about my thoughts on the Schmo, Curtis J. So, hey, and just like I said earlier, I warned you guys. I told you guys when I was in my car years ago, just recording my fight prediction videos in my car on the iPhone app with no visualization, no video. And I told you guys, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I feel like I've been delivering on my end. And just stay tuned and watch me keep delivering to you guys. And I told you guys also, for those of you guys that don't realize, I'm going to have an entirely new studio relatively soon over the next couple months. It's going to be a beautiful studio. I'm getting a whole new camera system. You think this looks like whatever, but it's going to be legit, man. We're talking about top of the line studio, high definition camera. We're going to have fighters come into the studio, all that, man. It's going to be legit. So you guys stay tuned, man. And you just watch. All right. Before I close out the show, man, let's see if I should touch up on any of you guys' comments. I got Vulcan and Rose, says the martial arts fan. Alex Jensen, Vulcan is the biggest favorite on the card besides Rebus. Okay. Likes that Vulcan play. Kyle, stay motivated, bro. All you guys stay motivated. Everybody, yes, I appreciate you. We definitely will. Everyone stay motivated. Everyone out there, keep your heads up, man, throughout this whole situation that's going on. Everything is going to be A-okay in the next couple of years, man. Fights will be back to normal with crowds in them. Hang tight, man. Yeah, Amit B, can't wait to see you in the media room. Stay tuned, man. You're going to see me out there. You're going to see the teller in the media room. Trust me. My boy Josh, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate all you guys, man. All right. So pretty much caught up with the comments. This was a spectacular show, in my opinion, at least at my end. I know that the audio was a little messed up with Chris Leben, but still, just to be able to chat with him, that was a really just an awesome thing for me to do. It's crazy. I'm chatting it up with Chris Leben here tonight, a guy that I've been watching throughout the years, a guy that's always delivered. He is the epitome of a gladiator. You want to talk about a gladiator inside the octagon? Chris Leben's a gladiator. There's certain guys, they're all fighters, they're all warriors, but there's real gladiators. Chris Leben was a gladiator. So it was just amazing to have him on tonight. Thank you. Shout out to Chris Leben. And Again, the Fight Companion will be going down this Saturday for the main card. I believe the main card starting at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So I'm excited for that. The show is going to start up a little bit later, which gives us more time to get ready. And then we hang out in the late hours, right? We hang out late night and we have a good time. The show is going to be crazy. And we're going to have a good time together, man. So bring your drinks, bring your smoke. If you mess around with any of that, just make sure you got the fights on. Make sure you know about the fights, and you guys come in the show, conversate with the teller and all the crew over here. Shout out to the whole crew, all you guys that hop on the show. Shout out to all you guys, man. Everybody, man. I don't even want to start throwing out names because I'll be forgetting certain people, but you know what I'm talking about, man. All you guys that hop in the Fight Companion show, that come on, MMA live discussion, you come chat up with me. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, everyone that's in the comment section, man, all you guys in the comment section, I appreciate all you guys in the comment section as well. And yeah, you guys are much appreciated. And on that note, I'll see you guys Saturday for the main card, man. On that note, we'll signing out, the teller.